All you do is digress.
Oh,
That's all you do in our chat.
God
man.
damn.
Digress.
Oh
Get
my
out of here.
God.
He going to war for live, bro. Going to war.
Get out of here.
She not gonna
They ain't gonna let you smash,
float.
little bro.
She not gonna let you
Sorry,
float,
bro. Sorry, bro.
I'm
Hey,
sorry.
bro, you know
I love you, Tyler, but
You don't know his DMs, bro. You don't know his DMs, bro. DMs could be.
Hey,
like
you gonna
that,
have to meet. He gonna have to meet Uncle Howdy, bro.
they drier than Kylie's knees. Next.
Facts.
don't get me started with that bona fide scrub.
Ooh, the great Goat Lee, bro.
Go what?
All right, so let me see. Let me make sure we got everything set up. G, you got everything you need, right? Are your
Yeah.
timers up?
We good.
David
Baker
Suggs,
Mayfield's
that's a
about
hell
to
of a
sign
name.
for $100 million in Tampa Bay. Just in
Yes,
case you guys missed
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go,
Shout out Baker.
Baker.
You know what's
That
good,
is
everybody?
insane.
Because they didn't pay him Daniel Jones money, and that's a good thing. So
That is
Let me
insane.
let me get the
How cool
teams.
is fucking Baker Mayfield?
Nah,
Shout
Baker
out,
Mayfield was he was
shout out
cooking.
New England for being ass.
he's better than Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones got
yeah.
40
that's
M's.
That's
Daniel
that's
Jones got 40 M's.
What you drinking
Yeah.
on, Mo? What you drinking
What's
on?
going down there?
Hey,
everybody?
are we excited for the Jaguars' new quarterback, Mac Jones? Though?
Mac Jones. He's taking
Hey.
T-Law's spot. Take it,
Hey,
T-Law.
look,
Listen,
he's
I
a-
think
he's a-
Matt could still have a future. I still believe in Matt
He
Jones.
on the bench now, boy.
Hey, Jay,
From
he's
bum
going
to bench.
to
Bum to
he's going
bench.
to Jacksonville to rehabilitate his reputation. Because if there's anybody who can do good with backup quarterbacks, it's Doug Peterson. He won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl with one.
All right, so today, guys, we are doing Ultimate Wrestling Debate number 2. We used to do these on the PC channel as well, and we brought them over
Gee,
here
they
to
said
the
you look
channel.
like Fano.
That's crazy.
Nah,
My chat is they kind of wild, man. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's all
No,
good. It's all
no.
good.
We welcome everything.
We welcome it all, bro.
Wait, is there any way to change my name so I don't troll? I'm gonna actually put my name.
Yo,
You don't want that hate on there?
notice what it was.
Nah, he ain't want the hate on there now, bro. You gotta keep it on there now, bro.
No,
don't want
it's
to
a new art. No, because people have to know my name. Like, people have to know my name. It's a new audience.
Crazy, bro. Crazy.
Ridiculous.
His name's Maivia. That's how you know.
Don't disrespect me like that. What the fuck is wrong with you?
G Phantom is crazy.
Narcolepsy
Alright.
Mysterio 94.
The Rock's the GOAT for today since we're on different teams.
Hope y'all having a good night.
So
It's
we
nighttime.
are doing Ultimate Wrestling Debate 2. We've done these on the PC channel. We've done one on the channel so far. We usually do about one every month. So to break it down, I'm gonna let G break down the rules and the topics that he has put up with. And then we have the teams of myself, Ross, and Mo going up against Nate, Lewis, and Jade. So I don't know how G's gonna structure his side of it because he may make the rules differently on his end. But I'm gonna let G explain everything on his end, how this works, and then he'll explain the topics that we are going to discuss. And we don't know. We have no idea what we're discussing either way. So
Tags.
Well, so basically, if you guys have seen us do it before, it's basically the same type of structure. However, there is a little bit of a twist with the questions and kind of the setup. So usually it's kind of like we give you either or questions. Well, we have about 3 open-ended. So basically, like for example, one of the questions are going to be worst WrestleMania of the past 15 years, excluding 36 because that was the first COVID one. So that's the only one we're not doing because
Not fair, bro. Mickey Mouse,
yeah,
bro.
like you know what I mean. But
Underrated.
so
It's
that's
not-
basically from WrestleMania 24 to WrestleMania 39. Whichever
that's-
one you pick, you got to make
That's
that
easy.
argument for.
Yeah,
it.
that's
You
easy.
know what I mean?
That's
So
How
easy,
y'all
bro.
doing,
there's
boys?
stuff like that. So basically, there's a couple open-ended. There's a couple open-ended, but I did put in some like either ors as well.
Right.
Each team. So I'll flip a coin here. Each team will have about 5 minutes. I'll be timing it to kind of make their sides. One team will go, the other team will stay quiet, and the next team will go, and vice versa. The other team will stay quiet. And then after that, there will be kind of like a rebuttal part for another 5 minutes, and then after that, I'll kind of make my argument. The main thing I'm looking for is how you argue the point. For those of you first watching, I'm not looking at what I agree with or not, what I think should happen or not. And I think most of the questions that I tried to put on here were pretty 50-50. Like, I don't really have a dog in either of the fights. So I really care about how you argue it. I'm looking real big on the counterpoints. If you can, shut down a point or so on and so forth. So that's what I'm kind of looking for in this debate. So the 5 questions we have. The first one is, if you could redo a superstar's push and turn them into a main eventer, which one would you choose? Kofi Kingston or Dolph Ziggler? That's the first one.
Oh fuck me.
Number the one I said earlier, the worst WrestleMania of the past 15 years, excluding
Why you
36.
doing that?
The third question: if Becky Lynch doesn't win a WrestleMania, who would you book to be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley?
Me.
The fourth one: worst booking decision: Goldberg squashing the Fiend or Brock hitting 6 F5s to beat Roman Reigns.
Oh.
That's easy.
And then the last one: if you could take one person from AEW and put them in WWE, who would it be and why? That is definitely the. That is definitely the.
Nate, we been game planning. I got this. Let me go, Nate.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it.
Who team I'm on again? I just want to click.
It's me and.
Do you need to put me at the bottom?
Yeah, I can put you at the bottom. Yeah, that'll work.
So Ross, it's you, Mo, and Malik on the same team.
All right, cool. All right, we got this, man. We got
Take
this,
me.
man.
Don't take me away from my abused brother.
Wait, what's going on?
Man,
There we go.
There we go. We got this.
What?
We
My
got
abuse.
this,
That's
man.
my abuse.
Oh,
It's the team. It's the team up
Hey,
here.
yo.
And versus the team against
Domestic
them.
Violence for Men Awareness Month.
Hey,
Dog.
So Ross, since
You
you
hate
are
him,
our
bro?
guest,
Uh-huh.
I will give you the heads or tails. You get to call the coin flip.
I'm gonna go tails.
Tails. Let's flip it.
No brush.
Can't even.
All
get a
right.
real
So for
fucking
confirmation, this says heads. If
Okay.
anybody can see that, that says heads. So Nate, Lewis, and Jade, you guys get to pick whether or not you want to go first or second, and you pick what question you want.
What? Oh.
Oh, we get to choose this one.
Shit. Okay.
Hold on, I'm gonna make an IG chat with y'all too, in case we gotta discuss like.
We
So
should probably
to
get in the-
re-say the questions again, if you could redo a Superstars push, and turn them into a main eventer, which
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
gonna
to
do the
be
same
Kofi or
thing.
Dolph. Worst
Hey,
WrestleMania
yo,
past
man.
15 years, excluding
You
36.
doing Instagram?
I'm gonna put y'all on IG.
Mini wilding out here, man.
Yeah, Mini Wallen.
My
Yeah,
God,
yo.
it's PG.
Oh my
Sunday.
goodness gracious.
It's Sunday.
PG.
If Becky Lynch doesn't win a
This is a
WrestleMania,
Lord's
who would
Day.
you guys
You-
dethrone?
you-
Who would you guys pick to dethrone Rhea Ripley?
Minnie, this is Wendy's, bro.
Sent y'all a message. I sent y'all a group chat on IG, so in case we gotta discuss what
All right,
topics we want to discuss.
Worst booking decision: Goldberg squashing a Fiend or Brock hitting 6 F5s, and who would you?
Okay, Jay,
from
Nate
AEW
made the
WWE.
IG group chat.
Chat. Feel free to chime in, give us your opinions, like the video while you're watching.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's it called?
G, can you send the questions to the chat one more time?
Oh yeah. I'll send them.
Excuse me.
What's it called? Also, too, I just want to say, I know we've talked about, me finally coming around to Logan Paul. I just tried Prime for the first time ever because I thought it was only an energy drink, and I don't like energy drinks. And then I found out there was juice drink, so I got one. Give Logan Paul the world title. I'm a fan. I'm
This
Damn.
nigga already.
I'm a
All
fan. I'm a fan.
Damn.
right,
I'm
bro.
a fan.
Shit fire.
Blaze is crazy, bro.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna
Shit
lie.
fire.
I don't think it clears Gatorade like y'all were trying to say in the chat, but it's definitely up there. It's
All right,
definitely.
Nate,
No, it
check
does.
your
It
check your
does.
requested dog on IG.
Gatorade not
I got you,
overrated.
I got you.
Powerade clears.
Honestly,
Uh-uh.
Does it
I'm
though?
low
I
key.
ain't gonna lie
thinking-
to you. Gatorade back in the day used to be the shit, but now I
Facts.
find myself getting Powerade more than Gatorade.
Yeah,
bro.
Powerade.
Because
I ain't
it's
gonna hold
cheaper
you.
and we're in an inflation period, honestly.
No,
I feel like when they was I feel like when they
Gatorade-
were closer. in
I ain't had a
price-
Powerade, bro. I don't even know how long, bro.
Bro, Gatorade like 3 cents extra, bro. Like it's not that
No. It's like 40 cents extra now, bro.
I got you.
I'm not even gonna
That's
hold you.
not that's not
It's like
that much
40,
more.
50.
All right,
It's
Nate,
like 40,
Nate and
50
Jade, how
cents
y'all
extra.
feel about that?
Yeah, I'm
Not a
down.
debate
That's-
over a drink.
It's still
Okay,
layup,
I see
and I
you.
guess if we're starting, if we want to get off,
We
to
gotta
a good
get-
start. That's probably the best one to.
Body armor? I don't know.
Body
Yeah.
armor. That's
What?
okay.
You guys doing the Dolph Ziggler route?
No, we're
No.
gonna go. Are we going first or second though?
Hold on, Nate. Nate, you good with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so we're
Yeah.
gonna do Goldberg squashing the Fiend. That's the one we're going.
Okay, so let me get the timer ready.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
I can do the 65s, bro, because that pissed me off, bro.
Yeah.
I-
So
Oh man, we're arguing for that.
So we
So
got
wait.
the F5. now.
So
Which
so
is
just
first?
to
Yeah.
just
We
for
gotta
clarification,
defend that one.
Nate,
We gotta
Lewis, and
defend
Jade
it?
will be defending that
Mhm.
Goldberg was the worst decision, squashing the Fiend. They're going to defend
Okay.
that Goldberg was the worst decision.
Okay.
And Malik, Mo, and Ross will be defending that Roman getting hit with 6 F5s.
Bro, don't worry, bro. I got you, bro.
Seal
I got
20.
you.
Which one y'all want?
Nate,
All right, I'll try.
Nate,
I'll
Lewis, and Jay. Let me know when you're ready so I can start the
They're
time.
both dog shit, but all right, let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I picked.
Right.
That's why I
Mid
picked
versus mid.
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
you,
yeah.
bro. I got
They
you, bro. I
both
got
they
you.
both clear any my via decision, so I'm cool.
So they're
Bro,
gonna,
relax.
they got 5 minutes to go, so you gotta put yourself on mute when they talk. So when they talk,
All right, cool.
put yourself on mute, and then when G says it's over with, then
When I throw up like the 2, that basically means you have 2 minutes left. So
All
Tyler,
right,
is your mom calling you?
so all right, so hold on real quick, Nate and Jade.
Yeah.
Hold on, because when we do shit like this, I like to like strategize to make sure we don't sound. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm drunk. I'm sorry. What's the word I'm looking for? Repetitive.
Yeah, like The Rock.
facts. Oh
Hell
my
yeah,
god!
that's the wrong.
I'm glad
Oh, I
somebody
made
else
it-
noticed it.
Clip me for this.
I made
That
it-
entrance is fucking mid. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that entrance.
All right,
Mid
relax.
is
I made a
fucking-
skit about that. It's coming out soon.
Fuck.
About The Rock, his promo.
Because I'm glad I'm not the only one who noticed it because he did it last.
Nah,
week.
bro, he just be
And
yapping.
I was like, bro,
Just be yapping.
like, get to the
Instagram
point.
and in the ring, bro. He just yaps. That's all he does.
I'm never watching that 21-minute promo. I refuse.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good off that. All right. All
right,
Nate
hold
Lewis,
on.
Jay-
Give us like a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to.
Okay.
I'm trying to break it down.
What a wonderful. Oh, how's that daylight savings time treat y'all? Because I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. It was still dark. Thought it was 4
I
o'clock.
was late as hell to work, bro. Oh my god.
That's tough, gang. That's tough. But yeah, no, that was not for me.
All right. Let's go. So whichever one of y'all want to talk on that, then the rest of the week. But I think that's the best 3 ways we can break it down.
All right, who wants to start us?
Okay,
Honestly, I mean, Jade, you.
I'll start.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Nate, if you want to go, that's cool.
All righty.
I'll go. I'll
Nate
start.
with Nate off the rip. 5 minutes on the clock, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
So the Fiend getting squashed by Goldberg, bro. That was pretty bad. That was actually terrible. That was horrific because the Fiend was the best thing in WWE in 2019. If anybody remembers WWE in 2019, it was horrific. You had the wild card rule. You had them when they went to like 2 out of 3 falls matches, or they went to commercial break and turned into something else. It was stupid. Like they didn't want them wrestling during commercial breaks. A lot of boneheaded decisions. Kofi got squashed by Brock. You had, oh my god, you had, and just everything was terrible in that time. But the one consistent thing was the Fiend Bray Wyatt. The moment he debuted as the Fiend, you knew something special was about to happen. Even before then, the Firefly Funhouse carried Raw, and he was so good, and WWE was so trash that they had to put that on SmackDown. It got to the point where they put him in the Universal Championship picture. He beat Seth Rollins. You had a Hell in a Cell match happen, and that was one of the worst things, probably the worst Hell in a Cell match I've ever seen in my life. That ended, but he got his get back at Crown Jewel. They finally made him champion because, I mean, he was the hottest thing in business. He was like, besides AEW, the Fiend was the hottest thing in business. And so Bray won that, and it was great. But then fucking Goldberg, part-time an ass.
So that will lead me to my next point. To me, when Goldberg came back in this time frame, he pretty much ruined everything that he touched. I mean, if you go back to Kevin Owens, when he squashed Kevin Owens in the Universal Championship, it took Kevin Owens a very long time for him to recover. If you look at even a guy like Brock, like it took Brock like even a little, like some little booking for him to even go back to the way he was, because the dude got squashed in like 2 minutes. And obviously, if we go to Bray Wyatt, the way how he squashed Bray Wyatt, it completely decimated what the Fiend was and what Bray Wyatt was, and completely ended any momentum that the Fiend ever had. So when Goldberg, not only was it the worst decision, but it set everything up for failure after that. Bray Wyatt led to not having he didn't have a marquee match at the next year's Mania. That was the domino effect. Unfortunately, due to COVID, Goldberg was just stuck in there with Braun Strowman. So a lot of the domino effects of Goldberg beating Bray Wyatt, it just wasn't a good decision for the landscape after.
Well, you know what the worst part of it for me was thinking about everything that happened with Goldberg before that WrestleMania match, right? And you think about things like the Saudi Arabia match with The Undertaker, and then you turn around and you put the Universal Championship on him. And what message are you sending to everyone watching at that point? Wrestling skills don't matter. Match quality doesn't matter. Match safety doesn't matter. Undertaker and Goldberg nearly fucking killed each other. All that matters is the money. We want every 50-year-old biker who doesn't usually watch WrestleMania to buy WrestleMania because, oh, hey, look, that's the guy I watched when I was 22. And then you've got this guy who is obviously the future of the company, who is obviously a bright light among a big pile of shit that 2019 and 2020 was. He was one of the hottest acts WWE had in 3 years. And you sacrifice it at the altar of having what would have been at that time a below mid-average match between Roman Reigns and Goldberg. Maybe would it have been better than Braun Strowman? Maybe, but it's still the things you could have done. I mean, he showed it at WrestleMania with the Firefly Funhouse match. The things you could have done to elevate the Universal Championship with that little bit of creativity. But no, we end up with two big men slapping meat, and we make jokes about that on the podcast. We make it sound fun. But ultimately, it was just a terrible decision because of everything that led up to it with Goldberg and every poor as shit match and every safety standard that he set before that. And then they decide to reward that by putting the title on him. To this day, I'll never understand it.
36 seconds.
Now, if we look at when Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt, Goldberg beating Bray Wyatt, it led to one of the worst runs the Universal Championship has had since the hot potato between Brock and Roman. Braun Strowman, I'm pretty sure, only had like one title defense, and then Bray Wyatt got it back, and then it led to Roman Reigns having a generational run to even save the championship, all because Goldberg's selfish ass wanted to bury one of the hottest superstars we've ever seen.
Bam.
10 seconds. Anything else to add?
It affected the company
Fuck
as a whole.
Goldberg. Yeah, fuck Goldberg.
Alrighty, those are your 5 minutes. Good use of time. Now, Mo, Malik, and Ross, you guys will now have 5 minutes to argue whether or not Roman Reigns losing by 6 F5s is the worst decision. Let me
Wait,
know
before
what
you start the
guys-
time, I just want to say rest in peace, Bray. Rest in peace, Bray.
Yes.
As always and forever, rest in peace. And we can get into it.
Yes. Yowie wowie.
Yep.
All right. 5 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bruh. I've spoken on this so many times, bro. This is the worst WrestleMania main event I've ever seen in my life, bro. So you have Roman and Brock in the main event of WrestleMania at the time when both guys were unanimously hated equally by the fans and nobody really wanted to see it. So you go into the match. I think most of us were expecting Roman to win because you just knew they wanted him to be the champion. So whatever, right? Now he takes one F5. That ain't too bad. You've seen people kick out of one F5. He takes another one. 2 F5s in a row, not too crazy, right? You've seen that before. He takes 3 in a row. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little crazy to take 3 in a row kick out, but it's still not the end of the world. Then he takes one through the announce table, gets thrown back into the ring, and takes another F5 after that. That's 5 in a row now. We're talking about 5 straight F5s. Kicks out. Now we're getting a little crazy with it. Then they made this man bleed. When they don't even do blood in matches anymore, right? And the fans still didn't care that he was bleeding. They didn't even care that the match was getting brutal, whatever. Then he takes another F5s and win. Let me remind y'all, it had to take 6 F5s to take down Roman Reigns. It only took 1 to take down Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman, who were 2 of the most dominant guys on the roster at that time to be believable threats to take down Brock Lesnar at the time. It didn't even take 6 F5s to conquer the streak or to conquer Super Cena. And it took 6 to conquer Roman Reigns. So you're basically telling us that Roman Reigns is better than all those guys, right? He better than Super Cena. He better than the streak at WrestleMania. He better than Braun Strowman in 2017. He better than Samoa Joe in 2017. That's basically what they were telling us. It had to take 6 F5s to take down the one guy that majority of the audience didn't want to see in the position that they wanted him in. And it only took 3 to conquer the streak. It took 2 to conquer Super Cena. It took 1 to conquer Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe. 1 F5. They couldn't kick out of 1, but Roman Reigns can kick out of 5 in a row, and it takes 6 to beat this man. Do people understand how absurd that is? Undertaker at WrestleMania for years, for 21 straight years, was dominating. Unbeatable. This man kicked out of Sweet Chin Music and a pedigree at the same time. This man damn near, you thought he couldn't be beat at WrestleMania. It was impossible. He lost to 3 F5s, and it took 6 to beat Roman Reigns. You're talking Michael Jordan type ring. 6 F5s to beat this man in the main event of WrestleMania. This is absurd. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah. So they had been teasing the match ever since WrestleMania 33 had wrapped up. The very next night, Raw after WrestleMania, Brock comes out, Paul Heyman comes out, and they talk about the 2 and 23 and 2. So going up to that point, it's a whole year of people saying, we don't want to see this match happen. Like, even I at the time was making scenarios in my own head on how they can change the match. And they didn't. They went ahead and they did it. Then they had a forced storyline of Roman being oppressed because Brock's Vince's boy, because that's just so believable, right? So we go into WrestleMania. Match starts. Crowd is already booing. They're booing that shit out of the building from the jump, chanting all kinds of stuff. This is awful. I think they were chanting Nakamura's theme, all types of stuff.
The beach ball, bro. They're throwing
Beach balls were being thrown around. And then they kept egging it on. F5 after F5, the crowd is getting more and more upset. But we all know at the end, Roman's gonna win. Then he does it. Then we go to Greatest Royal Rumble. Roman hits the floor first, by the way. They still give it to Brock and they continue the chant. And then we have to get to Backlash. Imagine the Samoa Joe Roman Reigns main event from Backlash. As bad as that was, that would have been significantly more entertaining had Roman Reigns had the championship. Instead, we ended off what was already one of the worst pay-per-views in WWE history. Right? Then they keep dragging it. Fans do not care. Bobby Lashley gets thrown in there and then yanked right out just to have Roman end up winning at SummerSlam anyway. When Braun Strowman had the Money in the Bank briefcase, people wanted to see that. They brought him out at SummerSlam just to make it more interesting. Didn't even work.
This is a WrestleMania main event that I didn't watch. The first one. I did not watch this in its entirety. I only saw clips. I honestly really didn't care too much about this particular WrestleMania from the jump because I knew what the main event was. And even then, with everything that we know, I'm like, all right, well, we'll get Roman as the champ. We'll see the championship finally. How ironic we're saying that now. But I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna do the right thing, put the title on, fuck it. The main event, don't give a shit. The 6 F5s, all that other stuff, that shit was wild. Point is, at the end of the day, this is Vince at his worst, pushing someone that no one truly gave a fuck about. So at the top.
Perfect way to end your time. So now we will have another 5 minutes of rebuttaling in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Let me start off by saying this. The one big thing that I want everyone to keep in mind is how did everyone end up following these decisions? Brock, obviously, before all this off-kilter shit happened, right, with Vince and the backstage stories and all that stuff, Brock obviously turned out to be fine. Roman Reigns turned out to be one of the greatest champions we've ever seen, right? So regardless of what happened in that main event, both of those guys turned out fine in-ring-wise, storyline-wise. But then you look at Goldberg and The Fiend, and I would say that Goldberg, through a combination of events up to and including being a party to squashing the hottest act they had had in 4 or 5 years in WWE, I would argue that his legacy, if that's what you want to call it, has been ultimately tarnished based on everything that happened with Saudi Arabia and then everything that happened with The Fiend. And then obviously The Fiend was just never the same after that, right? They tried to pick it back up with the Braun Strowman stuff, and some cool stuff happened, but ultimately, because you didn't have the crowd there to react to it, it all felt a little more hokey than usual. But maybe that could have been saved if The Fiend had a win against Goldberg under his belt. And then obviously we know what happened with Bray Wyatt down the line. Not all of it is extending from that, but I would say that 5x5, 6F5s, whatever, Brock and Roman turned out to be okay. Goldberg and The Fiend ultimately never recovered.
So I want to rebuttal that point right there. Now, Brock and Roman may have been fine, but look at how it affected other people that were a part of that. You go looking before the match at WrestleMania, Braun Strowman in the Elimination Chamber eliminated everybody in that match except for Roman Reigns. The one guy he couldn't beat was the one guy nobody wanted him to win that match. And then the best thing they had for Braun Strowman at the WrestleMania was him to win the fucking tag titles with a child. That's the best thing they had for him to do at that WrestleMania because he didn't win that Elimination Chamber. And then you look at what happened afterwards. They put him in a feud with Jinder Mahal. Roman Reigns couldn't even get babyface cheers over Jinder Mahal. He couldn't even get cheered over Jinder Mahal. Not to mention what he did to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley beat Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules, only to
Clean.
lose a number one
The next
contenders
night.
match the next night for no reason. So they took Bobby Lashley out of the Universal Championship picture for Roman Reigns once again. And if it may not have affected Roman and Brock, of course, Roman and Brock were going to be solidified for no matter what. But the people around it, dude, they literally had Braun Strowman win the titles with the kid because they had nothing else for him to do at WrestleMania. The best thing they had for him to do was win the tag titles with a 10-year-old child, bro.
You see,
Bobby
And the thing
Lashley-
is,
you see,
and the thing
you
is,
see,
go ahead.
you see,
go ahead.
this is where I want to rebuttal. You said yourself, Roman Reigns will always be solidified. Roman Reigns will always be protected no matter what. We can agree Roman Reigns is always the guy and he's going to be protected no matter what, right? They're going to keep
Yeah.
putting him in these situations. In 2019, the top two merch sellers were Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. Do you know who was the only man to overtake that before the Goldberg shit happened? Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt as the Fiend managed to overtake peak popularity Becky Lynch and cancer announcement Roman, and managed to outsell both of them at their peaks. And
But here's the
since
thing.
and since Goldberg squashed the Fiend, like you said, Roman is solidified. Roman got the 6 F5s and he got smoked by Brock. He was fine afterwards. Once Goldberg squashed the Fiend, that humanized the Fiend, and the Fiend was never able to recover. We look down the line, the Fiend got his nuts kicked by Roman, and that's what started this Roman shit. And then if we look at the Fiend at WrestleMania, it took one fucking RKO from Randy Orton to smoke this man. The Fiend never recovered after that Goldberg loss.
No, you know what killed the Fiend in the beginning was when the referee inside a Hell in a Cell match became a Karen and ended the match because, oh, this monster, this demon was way too beat up. That's what killed Bray Wyatt in the beginning. That's
I
what
feel
killed
like
the Fiend.
that
in the
killed
beginning.
Seth more than Bray.
Yeah,
He
that
never
definitely
recovered
killed
from that.
Seth.
If you look
It
at
killed
if
both
you-
of
no,
them.
no, no, no,
They did.
we have to if we're looking in context, we have to look at
It killed
we have to
them
look
both.
what
It
happened.
killed them both.
No, we have to look
killed
at what
them both.
happened. We have to look at what happened after the match because after Seth hit that sledgehammer, the Fiend came up fine because he's a fucking monster. He's a demon. That shows how much of a demon he is. But at the same time, like it killed Seth. So I would say that did more damage to Seth more than it did the Fiend. If anything, it made the Fiend look stronger because if you're smashing a sledgehammer full of metal on this motherfucker's dome and he's still getting up like that, that's showing how they're portraying the
But-
Fiend.
All-
The
all-
Fiend
all-
was
all-
never
all-
able to recover from that.
And he won the title.
All I'm gonna say is if the Fiend never had to feud with Seth Rollins, Goldberg would have never beat the Fiend in the first place. To put the title on him, because the Fiend going after the championship was a detriment to him from the beginning. Because he
There
was
we
a
go.
fresh new
There we go.
character on the roster. They had to build
There
up,
we go.
and they immediately threw him in the title picture. And
They
then,
booked
of course,
themselves in the corner.
everybody knows when you're a champion, obviously you can't hold the title forever, right? I mean, you're gonna have to lose it.
Exactly.
And obviously, the worst thing they possibly do was have him lose to Goldberg. But that honestly probably could have never happened if they never threw him in the title picture so soon. Like I think a lot of us were always like.
Oh, I had such a fucking rebuttal for give me 1 minute. Give us 1 more minute. Give us 1 more minute.
They should have
Go
never
ahead.
put
Go.
him-
I'm a generous host.
The,
One more
the
minute.
reason I can't really say that it was a detriment once he won the Universal title because a lot of people are saying in the chat it's a detriment that he won the Universal title. He had to eventually lose. If you remember, friendly neighborhood fucking Bray Wyatt defended the Universal title against the Miz at TLC, so they could have definitely put a loophole where the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt could have lost the championship. The reason why the Fiend lost, they try to make Goldberg look like he's fucking Galactus. That's the reason why the Fiend lost, and it completely ruined the Fiend. So I can't necessarily agree that throwing the belt on the Fiend was a detriment because they literally had Mr. Rogers wrestle some matches so that they could protect certain superstars. They just wanted Goldberg to look like fucking God.
They did that with certain superstars, yeah, but when it comes to Vince booking, I mean, the Fiend was going to lose regardless.
I mean, he didn't have to lose to Goldberg though. Like if he would have lost,
No,
to
he-
Roman,
he-
still would have looked strong.
No, absolutely not. But
No, but if he lost to Roman, though, that would have been bad for Roman. That's why he didn't lose to Roman.
There was
Yeah, but we're
different-
talking
there
about
was
Bray
there
Wyatt,
was
bro.
different times where the Fiend could have lost. I mean, the strap match at the Royal Rumble against Daniel Bryan that could have
That's
been a
true.
way where nobody would have been mad. It's the way how they
Yeah.
humanized them and made him get dominated. If he lost to Daniel Bryan in an insane physical match, strap match, I don't think anybody would have a problem because that was probably match of the night that night.
The problem is,
That's
just
so
to back up Lewis's point, the Fiend should have only ever lost a match because of a storyline reason, not because bald-headed fucking Goldberg came in and jackhammered.
Old ass
There was
Goldberg.
no
super-
reason For the
Can't even do
No,
a
you bring-
jackhammer
you guys-
properly, bro. He can't even do the jackhammer properly.
You guys bring up a lot of points. I mean, it did
Goldberg's
affect
ugly.
it did affect
Mhm.
the Fiend. It did affect the Fiend's character long term. But what was so bad about Brock and Roman? It affected other people around it.
Around him,
Other people
yeah.
around it
Yeah.
got affected within that stuff. It may not have affected those two guys in general, but like I said, Braun Strowman, he won a tag title with the fucking kid, bro, at WrestleMania. That's the best thing they had at WrestleMania, bro. The best thing they had, he was the most dominant guy in 2017.
Shout out
And the
Nicholas.
best thing, he dominates the Elimination Chamber.
Nicholas the
Everybody in the match. He
So-
smoked.
So-
He smoked Cena. He smoked Finn Balor. He smoked Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He smoked everybody in
Yeah.
that match. And the
Nate,
best thing
so-
they had for him.
So
I
so
think
so
WrestleMania
are
was
we?
better
So
than
so we're deteriorating from the 6 F5s. We're talking about the story of Brock versus Roman. If Brock versus Roman, if Brock beat Roman with 2 F5s, then those guys are still affected. We're talking about the 6 F5s. If Brock beat
Well-
Roman with 2 F5s,
Well,
Samoa Joe,
point,
Braun Strowman,
point
they're
is
still
whole-
affected. We're talking about the 6 F5s. We're not talking
Yeah,
about
but
Roman
the whole
losing
point-
to Brock. We're talking about in 6
whole point
F5s.
the whole point is though that match should have never happened to begin with. It only happened because he had to go through the elimination chamber to get there, which affected other people around it. And then because of the 6 F5s, they had to extend that feud out even longer, which nobody wanted. Nobody wanted that. We didn't want
I-
to see Brock and Roman.
Time.
I feel
time.
like
Yeah, I know. So going forward, the debate round, I'll put it at 8 minutes because I was letting y'all rock because 5 minutes clearly wasn't enough.
I feel like we could have gone a whole hour going back.
Yeah, probably.
Fucking
So, so what I will say,
Fiend versus Santino's
obviously
nasty.
your both of y'all's opening points were really strong.
Damn.
I really loved when Jay came in, and talked about how like kind of how everything was affected afterwards as well around. He talked about the Fiend never being the same, but then y'all up top came back with like what also basically y'all both kind of did a really good job of showing how everything else off of that decision got affected, not just them two. Right? Y'all talked about the Samoa Joe, Braun, all them dudes. The guys at the bottom talked about how, Goldberg, Jade, you made a point that Goldberg's like reputation was tarnished. I really did like that point because when you think about it, Goldberg wasn't really viewed the same after that. So I think both of y'all counterpoints was really, really good. So overall, I'm going to go super slightly with Goldberg squashing the Fiend. And the only reason why, honestly, Nate, you kind of solidified it at the end because you talked about how, well, if Roman would have lost to 2 F5s, those still would have been affected, but it was the 6 that really does it, not necessarily losing to Brock, whereas the Fiend, him losing to Goldberg, no matter how he would have lost, was always going to be stupid. Was always going to be horrendous. It was always going to be like that should have never ever happened. Never, like, there's no, at least with Roman, like at least for me, with Roman, the 6 F5s is what really does it. But if he would have lost, like you said, to like 2, like those other guys still would have been affected, but it wouldn't have been as bad. If we would have just been like, wow, why are they
Nate,
extending
check
it?
IG.
But yeah, so yeah, it's super slight though. I
Yeah,
love both
feels like
arguments because I hate both of them. I'm not gonna lie, I hate both of them. I think both of them are
We can-
horrendous and stupid. So with that being said, you guys get to pick your next question. Do you need me to go over them again, or y'all got it?
No. We have the questions. We're just going.
Or yeah, pick your next side. I mean.
How we
I'm
feeling,
good,
Jay?
I'm good with that.
I think it'll be a disservice not to choose the next topic. We have one of the biggest. We have the biggest Dolph Ziggler fan on earth. I think it's only fair we defend Dolph Ziggler's honor. So we're gonna defend Dolph Ziggler. Sorry, Kofi, we love you, but
All right, let me
love you,
know. Let me know.
It's
The
not
next,
February anymore, so we're good.
That's crazy.
That's crazy as fuck.
Let me know when you guys are ready, and I'll
That's
start the
crazy.
time.
I'm ready.
All right, bet 5 minutes
So-
on the clock.
So
3,
listen.
2, 1, go.
Listen, there's a bias on this dais, okay? So I get that we're probably going to lose this no matter what. I will go to my grave. I will be dead in my coffin, and someone will bring up the fact that Dolph Ziggler wasn't capitalized upon after Survivor Series in 2014, and I will shoot out of my coffin, and I will argue that point again before I die a second time. Dolph Ziggler has proven in 2013 with the Money in the Bank that he could be the supporting heel on a main roster show. And then he proved in the mid 2010s, 2015 and 2017, that he could be the most over supportive babyface of any main roster show. He showed on 2 occasions that whether you wanted him to be the Antichrist or the Paragon, he could be whatever you need him to be. Match quality, fucking forget about it. It's Dolph Ziggler. I don't care what you think about Dolph Ziggler and his character or his push or his fans or his hair or whatever. If you say to me that Dolph Ziggler's ring work didn't move mountains at times, you're out of your freaking mind. And the fact that Dolph Ziggler was the world heavyweight champion twice, and on both occasions, we were more focused on who his fucking girlfriend was than what he was doing in the ring, shakes me to my knees. I understand that there were injuries. I get it. We can't control Dolph's
To your knees
injuries.
is crazy.
But we could have controlled how we booked him as a champion. You guys remember when Chris Jericho beat Stone Cold and The Rock in one night, became the undisputed champion, and then carried Stephanie McMahon's purse and her little fucking dog or whatever until he lost to Triple H? That's what both of Dolph Ziggler's title reigns remind me of. Dolph Ziggler came off of the most electric Money in the Bank cash-in. Nothing. He comes off of being the last man standing against Team Authority. Nothing. He wins a retirement match against The Miz. Nothing. We had all of these opportunities to make Dolph Ziggler if
All right,
not the
Nadeem,
face of
chill out.
WWE,
Come on, bro.
and we couldn't make it happen on multiple opportunities. And I swear to God, if he doesn't come back to WWE and win a title at some point, it's just a sham. It's a complete sham. I'm done. Go ahead.
Sheesh.
So for me personally, a comparison I can give Dolph, and let's actually be serious and hear me out when I say this. A comparison I can give Dolph is like KD. KD is one of the best plug and play players we've ever seen. I feel the same way about Dolph. Dolph is one of the best plug-in wrestlers we've ever seen. When the WWE has never had a direction, a clear-cut direction they can go, the main guy for the last decade that they leaned on to put on a classic for the next couple of weeks was always Dolph Ziggler. Whenever they didn't really have a true direction with Big Gold, they went with Dolph Ziggler. In 2018, when Seth Rollins cleared everybody on the main roster on his run as IC champion, and they had no direction, the guy that they plugged in there, and we had countless classics. Like, we had probably 7 classic matches between those two in the span of a month, and it was Dolph Ziggler. When Dean Ambrose beat Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns at Battleground for the and to retain the WWE World Championship, and they had no clear-cut direction on who they can give the title opportunity to, they gave it to Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is I wouldn't even be mad if you say the best plug-in wrestler, plug into the storyline, do something out of nothing, and steal the show. He is probably the best at doing that, and WWE never, ever capitalized on that.
Nah, that's facts, bro. That's facts. Dolph Ziggler, overall, is a fantastic superstar. He can talk, he can work,
Somebody
he
clip
can
that.
tell a story. He can do it all. You want him to be babyface? He can be babyface. You want him to be heel? He can be heel. And that time period when he was the world heavyweight champion, he should have had a much better run. But unfortunately, he got injured, and they never trusted him with the strap again. They gave it to Alberto Pispatron, but that's whatever. But Dolph Ziggler is just you need someone to get over. Dolph Ziggler's got it. You need someone to have a 5-star classic with Dolph Ziggler's your man. You need somebody as a title contender for the World Championship, Intercontinental Championship, Tag Championship. You got Dolph Ziggler, and I think his skill and his ability, his work ethic, his ability to just give himself to any storyline. I mean, look at what he did with Rusev, Lana, and Summer Rae. Like, his ability to just give to any storyline. He should have been a top star in WWE.
And I will just say, too, in case you're getting ready to count off points for not saying how we would do it, Dolph Ziggler's proven time and time again how you do it. I'm just saying.
All right, guys up top, y'all ready to argue Kofi Kingston?
So it's how we would have booked him better, correct?
So you're basically
I thought it
you
was who
can't
you would choose.
Yeah.
It's who you can choose. Now, if you want to use that for your argument, you can.
Oh,
I'm not gonna tell you.
yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you how to argue it. It's a matter of who you guys are. You're arguing for Kofi Kingston. So if you want to add in how you want to do it, that is part of your
On why he should have had a better run.
yeah, as a main
Okay, cool,
event.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. So whenever you guys are ready,
okay.
all right, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here's the thing about Kofi, and we always talk about the ultimate underdog story and how people want to see someone rise up. Kofi was never presented as a main eventer, even in his SOS days with the fake Jamaican accent and all this other stuff. He was never presented as anything higher than mid card. He had some great matches, and we obviously know what happened with Randy Orton, and I'm gonna let my compadres dive into that. But I will say this: it literally was what we was talking about last week, a spur of the moment, a random moment, the moments where it's not planned, the moments where something happens with the booking behind the scenes that causes someone to be in a certain situation. And that was Kofi. He was in the right place at the right time. Yes, they put him with New Day, and he was having his run with them, even being a heel for a little bit, and that helped. But once again, Vince and them never looked at him as anything higher than that. That was peak Kofi with New Day. It was. They were heels. They were meant to be taken not seriously, but people started to love them. And then, they started pushing out the merch and all this other stuff. It wasn't until Ali got hurt, and then all of a sudden the fans switched. And that don't happen often. Fans are not just going to willingly get behind someone just because. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it has to be that mental idea like, damn, we like Kofi. Kofi's been around for a while. You know what? Let's give him an opportunity. And once again, outside of the Ali situation, they kind of forced WWE's hand. And a black guy being put in that position in this company, I know people don't want to bring up race, but that's something special, especially to see something like that when you've seen someone work and grind for so long to be only at this ceiling, and then now cards line up and now they're in a situation to be a main eventer and looked at as a main eventer. I think that's something to be commended, and that's something to really look into, because that shit don't happen. It rarely does. So I'm handing it off to my compadres on that one, man.
Go ahead, Mo.
So the thing is, Kofi Kingston's push only stopped because of one word being repeated twice. Stupid.
Yeah.
All because
Happy
all
birthday.
because he accidentally got up when he was supposed to be punted. His entire push stopped. Let me remind y'all of something. When they were in MSG, I believe back in 2009, there was a feud between Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton. Kofi Kingston had that moment where he leg dropped Randy Orton, I believe it was in the crowd. One of the biggest moments of that whole year, right? And the fact that because he made one little botch killed his whole push. Whenever Kofi Kingston is put in anything, he makes it work. Whether he was in the mid card, whether he's in a tag team, Air Boom, the tag team with R-Truth for a little bit. New Day was a little bit of a failure in the beginning, but they fixed it and let them be themselves, and it ended up working perfectly. And now they're probably the greatest, if not one of the greatest tag teams of all time, right? But the fact that his push got stopped all because of one little botch, when other people that would not happen to other people like that.
I think for me the main thing is that Kofi's push really happened, like he said, by a happy accident. If Ali don't get hurt, we don't even know if we get Kofi Mania. And Kofi Mania was great, but then look how it ended. He gets squashed by Lesnar and then never got a rematch for it. And they basically sacrificed Kofi Kingston's championship push for a match with Cain Velasquez that nobody cared about. And then we never saw Cain Velasquez again in WWE. So I feel like Kofi had a great run with the New Day. I mean, legendary. You could arguably say they're the greatest tag team of all time. I mean, I'm not going to dispute that if people did say that. But for, like Ross said, for an African-American guy to get that big moment, because there haven't been any two-man African-American champions. You have The Rock, who's half black. You have Bobby Lashley, you have Big E, and then you have Kofi Kingston. So that's really like four people right there that you can name of. So for him to get that big moment, and it was great. It's like Vince said, we'll give you that moment, but it's going to end the way I want it to end. And then it literally happened when he got squashed by Lesnar. Never got a rematch for it. And then he had to sacrifice it for a UFC rematch WWE style that the fans didn't really care about, only to never see that guy ever show up in WWE ever again. Never saw his face once again after that. So, Kofi's push could have gone a lot better. You could probably say he had a bigger moments than Ziggler did, because Ziggler, obviously, they fumbled a lot with him as well, throughout time. But, Kofi's push, honestly, you could really say kind of happened by, some things falling in line. Like I said, if Ali don't get hurt, does we get Kofi Mania? Maybe not.
All right, you guys can start rebuttaling. 8
Also,
minutes on the
Tyler,
clock.
I'm looking at you differently because the fact that you called Kofi a transitional champion is fucking distasteful. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
and that's what I
outta
want.
here.
That's what I want to call
Chad,
out.
stop
too.
disrespecting Kofi. We're not doing that shit. Fuck out of here.
Rebuttal, go ahead.
That's what I want to call out too. Is I think because Kofi's championship reign ended so distastefully, and it was completely distasteful. It wasn't appropriate in any way. I completely agree with that. But I think people forget that before that happened, he had a 6 or 7 month reign where he defeated guys like Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler. Now that we're talking about him, and he defeated it in multiple match types and multiple pay-per-views, week in, week out. So, and I mean, a 6 or 7 month title reign, comparatively, now you look at reigns like Gunther and Roman Reigns, and it feels like nothing. But back then, that was pretty long by all standards. Whereas Dolph Ziggler obviously never had that. And then you look at Kofi's career without that 6 month world championship reign, still a bona fide Hall of Famer. I would argue, even as Dolph Ziggler's biggest fan, Dolph Ziggler's Hall of Fame credibility is like, it's like that, because yeah, he was one of the most talented guys to ever come in the company, but without somebody getting behind him and pushing him to where he needed to be, Dolph Ziggler never punched through that glass ceiling like Kofi did. Now, was he then forcefully pushed back down under the glass ceiling? Yes, but he did punch through, and I'm so happy that he did. But comparatively, if we're talking about which guy had more opportunity in his career to be more than what he was, I don't think there's any debate that it's definitely Dolph.
Do you guys want to go?
Yeah.
So we'll go.
To that
Okay.
point, you make some great points on that in that situation. But when we're talking about specifically that title reign, that's cool. But there's also been a lot of title reigns that have been not memorable, and you can barely remember. You can have these feuds with these legendary people, but if the match is not memorable, who gives a fuck? And that's the situation here. I think people will remember how Dolph Ziggler had the World Heavyweight Championship, and because of injury, we didn't get to see that. So people have that fond memory. When people think of Kofi Mania, they think of him winning it, and then they think of him getting squashed to fucking Brock on Fox. That's it. Yeah, they have the feuds of Randy Orton and stuff, and that should have been cinema. And they fucked it up because they still had Kofi being this happy-go-lucky, eating pancakes and wearing dildos on his fucking forehead and not taking shit seriously. So at that point, you automatically feel whatever hype you have. Because I remember watching it, I was like, yeah, Kofi Mania. And then they just had him feuding with people that you know, but the feud didn't matter because at the end of the day, no one cared. They had him dancing, jucking, and jiving. You like this, like that. That was it. So we got the moment. Like he said, we got the moment. But Vince said, all right, pal, fuck your moment. Now I'm going to do what I want to. And that's exactly what happened. So the title reign, cool. 6 months of just random matches that really most of us don't fucking remember doesn't really account to everybody remember when Dolph cashed in. Everybody remember the hype behind him. Everybody remember that Survivor Series moment that they didn't capitalize on. Yeah, those are different moments, and he didn't have legendary title reigns because of it. Everybody remember the feud he had with Miz. That shit was a great intercontinental feud, legendary. But how many feuds of Kofi's title ranking you can sit up there and say, "Oh yeah, man, I remember that," and just be like, "Oh, that was fantastic."
Just the
That's
Randy
my point.
one. Just the Randy one. That's it. For me personally, I want to touch up on the point
Mhm.
where I'm sorry, hold on. I'm fucked. I want to touch up on the point where you guys said the New Day started becoming themselves. I personally feel like Dolph never had that opportunity. I'm not taking that away from Kofi. I would never discredit Kofi. But I feel like in that instance of becoming a main eventer, at least when the fans turned the hand for Kofi, they gave Kofi a legit shot. When the fans turned and moved the hand for somebody like Dolph, they never gave Dolph a chance. basically what I'm saying is WWE was more open to giving Kofi at least a true run as a true main eventer rather than Dolph. It's hard. It's really hard because both guys were rejected for so long. But I think we can all sit up here and agree that Dolph was rejected through and through, and they did not believe in Dolph. At least when Kofi had his peak, they tried and they were open to do something with that. With Dolph, he never had that.
All right, let me refute that.
Go ahead.
Like we was talking about lucky happenstance, that's really what this is. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I love Kofi, but the only reason why we got this is because of that random situation, the random booking. So to be honest with you, if Ali doesn't get injured, I don't think we see Kofi in that situation. I think we just see him tearing at mid card, and that's it. So to point out that yes, Dolph didn't have those moments specifically, or when he did get those moments, they didn't really the management wasn't kind of buying into it. They were just like, we'll give him a little bit and then we'll kind of pull back. I think the same thing would happen with Kofi. It's just an injury put him in that situation. The fans said something, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're here now. Let's go with it. Because after, I'll put it to you in this perspective. If they really believed in Kofi like the fans did, then they would have treated his reign so much better. And that goes for both of these guys. If they really believed in them, they would have treated them better. But because they didn't, and they just kind of moved him in that slot, that's the only reason why we got that legendary moment at that WrestleMania. That's the only reason why we got it. And the fact that they paired him up with Daniel Bryan, and for that to happen, I mean, it was a great storytell. But once again, at the end of the day, none of this matters if Ali doesn't get injured.
I also just want to rebuttal on that.
Mhm.
I feel like the WWE believed in Kofi just a little bit more in terms of
Okay.
in terms of a superstar company aspect, because they threw him with New Day, and like Mo said, in the beginning they were a little bit shaky, but then they took off and arguably became the greatest WWE tag team of all
Mhm.
time.
Okay.
I'm not saying put Dolph in the same situation and he'll replicate the same results. I'm not saying that. But if you can find a hidden gem like that, and if you're willing to just throw something together and see how it works, there was no reason where you couldn't put Dolph in a situation. Put him in a situation to see if something works. That's what you did with New Day, and it capitalized greatly. And you made him a tag team juggernaut. With Dolph, he never had any of those opportunities. At least with Kofi, he had the safety net in the future with New Day. Dolph never had the safety net with anything in terms of his booking. So I'd argue when it comes to their careers, Kofi was booked a little bit better than Dolph was.
And I couldn't
I think-
rebuttal, but I don't want to slurp Dolph anymore. So.
Go ahead, Nate. Nate,
Hey yo!
That's egregious. That is egregious. I mean, yeah. I mean,
That's
for
okay.
Dolph, it was one injury and he was back to the mid card. For Kofi, he lost to Brock. At least he had the New Day to fall back on. Like, he won the tag titles literally the next week, and he always had that. With Dolph, it was like back to the mid card, and slowly, besides like Survivor Series 2014, and then 2016 that feud with the Miz. Besides that, Dolph was just kind of always floating to the point where he wasn't even on TV for like a year. Like, he just wasn't there, and it got to the point where people like me would be like, "Dog, like Dolph Ziggler's like trash. Like, it's not going to amount to anything," because they never gave him that chance. They never put him in anything, to the point where he won the NXT championship. I was like, Dolph Ziggler, out of all people, winning the NXT championship. What are we doing? Like, that's what you have for Dolph Ziggler. So they never really gave Dolph any opportunities outside of what he had. Unlike Kofi, who after he lost to Brock, at least he had New Day to fall back on.
It was a great argument, guys. Obviously, I think both of these guys should have had better opportunities. I love the points that kind of Nate and y'all were bringing up. Y'all brought up how Kofi, like, at least he had something to fall back on, in a sense, where Dolph didn't really have that safety blanket almost. And then, Jade, you talk about it all the time. You said it, the fact that in both of his title runs, they were more interested with who his girlfriend was as opposed to the title reign. That definitely resonated with me, because it was like, yeah, that is kind of true. I do think, I do think Dolph had, I don't want to say the bigger highs, but more highs. But I still think y'all did a great job showing, like, okay, yeah, he had that, but it was kind of like, that's it. However, I am gonna go with Kofi, and the only reason I'm gonna go with Kofi is because they brought up the point that Kofi's push got stopped off of a botch for 11 years. Like that's crazy.
That's pretty shitty.
Like when you really think
That's
about
very
it,
shitty, dog.
one botch and you never get put back in that position. And then when you did get put back in the position, Raw said it was only because of an injury because that was supposed to be Mustafa Ali. And I remember because I remember vividly Mustafa Ali beating Daniel Bryan, which at the time was like the biggest deal in the world.
Mhm.
That was like the biggest deal in the world. Like I even remember he botched it too. Like he hit Daniel Bryan like crazy, like off his 450 or whatever, and he, like apologized during the pain, but still got it. Like that was crazy. That's the only reason I'm gonna go with Kofi. Well, that's the main reason why, because you don't get put in that position at all for like I don't even think he had a world title match at all in that span. And then when you did get it, it was kind of like all they really did was say, "Oh, Mustafa's hurt. Hey, Kofi, go run the gauntlet." Because why not? You know what I mean? You're reliable. We trust you.
Mhm.
You know, so
The Mustafa Ali butterfly effect is crazy. I think about that
It
concept.
really is.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
It's not to mention too, like I said, look how it ended. It feels like they just gave us the moment just to give it to us, and then
Because it was inaudible.
and then he just killed, and then he killed it when he wanted to kill it the way he did.
Yeah, because remember, Kevin Owens was supposed to win that title at Mania.
Yeah, he wasn't even on WrestleMania either. So
Yeah, because he
What?
came back at Fastlane. That's when they re-debuted him
He
at
was supposed to
Fastlane.
beat Brian at Mania.
Yes, he was supposed to be the one to beat
Yeah.
Brian at Mania, bro. He was supposed to be the one
Yeah.
to beat Brian at
Damn.
Mania.
I'm glad
That's
we
why
got
he-
Kofi
that's why
Mania,
he-
but KO
yeah.
beating him, that would have been.
Yeah, that would have been
That
crazy.
would
That
have
would've
been
been
crazy
That
too.
would have been.
All right, so it's 1-1 right now. Malik Mo Ross. You guys get to
Damn.
pick.
what's the
KO
so
could have beat
the
Kofi.
Yeah. So the
KO Mania,
remaining
man.
questions-
That would have
Hey,
been
man.
At
crazy.
SummerSlam at least.
That would have been.
Nah, bro.
A heel
'Cause
KO
remember, they
beating
put him.
Kofi would've
They
been
put
nice.
him. They put him. Remember, they put Kevin Owens with the New Day for like a couple
Yeah.
weeks, and they were
Oh,
and it was like he was the Big O,
The
and then he
Big
turned
O.
on
I
him immediately.
did not
and I was
know
like,
he was
"Aw."
originally supposed to beat Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
I
he was.
didn't.
He was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he
wait,
was.
so what was the whole? You couldn't have KO beat Kofi at the 1,000th episode of SmackDown? Like what the fuck?
Nah, because they
Brock
were
Lesnar,
trying
Nah,
to.
man.
And they just went to Fox, right?
had
Yeah,
to,
they
had to
was-
do had to do
they-
Brock, had to do
Fox.
Brock and Cain Velasquez, bro. They had to do it. Bro.
Yeah,
Bro,
because
yeah,
they
it
were
was
trying
Fox,
to.
you know?
They
You
were
would
Y'all gonna hate
think
me
you
for
would
this.
think that would be the safety net. Like, okay, we don't want Kofi as champion anymore, so just throw it at KO because we were
What
gonna
are
do it anyways.
what are the next three
The
topics?
last,
I didn't know
the
that.
three remaining
I'm not gonna say
questions are worst WrestleMania of the past 15 years, excluding 36, so 24
Okay.
through 39.
Okay.
If Becky Lynch doesn't win a WrestleMania, who would you book to be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley? And if you could take one person from AEW and put him in WWE, who would it be and why?
All right, I'm gonna defend this, bro. Hold on.
All right.
Yo, hey,
Y'all
hey,
like
hey,
the video, by the way?
Nate, Jade, if we get AEW,
I
we
need
should do
this,
this
bro.
one a troll.
Crazy.
I'll give it to Malik. I'll give it to Malik. Because I
Bro,
can help
there's
you with
so
this.
many-
I'll give it to you.
There's
Yeah.
so many bad things. You can say about
Yes.
it, bro.
Hey,
yes.
I'll give it to you. I got you.
Nah,
I got you.
dude.
Hey, so do y'all have y'all's question and defense?
Yeah, I was thinking
course,
the
bro.
same
Yeah,
thing,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Let's
just
go.
troll as if.
All right, so which one is it going to be, Malik? I feel like you're real excited about it.
Oh, we definitely slandered WrestleMania 34, bro.
Oh.
It's getting slandered easily.
All
bro.
right, so Malik, Mo, and Ross, you guys will be telling us why WrestleMania
You started
34
off, Mo, man. You
is the
go
worst
ahead.
Mania in the last
Man,
15 years.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it, and then whoever want to go after can pitch in, bro. Whoever
Shoot,
fill
man.
in.
Go for it.
All righty, it's on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
So we're not even gonna talk about. I'm not even gonna talk about like the time of WrestleMania because we all know WrestleManias were long at that time. But you look how they structured the card. We had Asuka and Charlotte. We had Shinsuke and AJ. We look Undertaker and John Cena. No, we looking pretty promising. You know what I'm saying? Even though the main event ain't what we want it to be, it's still looking pretty promising. Show starts off great. Triple threat IC title match. Chef's kiss, right? Starting off great, right? Then you have Charlotte beat Asuka. Now, even though I don't think that was the end of the world, that right there should have been the red flag sign that we should have saw right there. We should have known right there that WrestleMania was going to be doomed from right there. Just off the fact Asuka lost. You had Asuka lose to Charlotte, which not a lot of people wanted Charlotte to beat that streak, but it's whatever, right? Then you dive into the rest of the show. We get Undertaker, John Cena, a dream match we all have been waiting for years. We have been waiting for that match at WrestleMania for so long. You look at the documentary, Undertaker looking like he's in shape and everything after not looking in shape. He looking in great shape for his age for the first time in so long. And what did we get? 2-minute squash match. Undertaker, old man Taker, squashed John Cena at WrestleMania in a 2-minute squash match after we
Wait.
waited years to see that match.
I just want to expound on that point. That was off of Vince McMahon troll, by the way, because he just wanted to see Undertaker get in all this great shape, only to put him in that match. By the
Only
way,
for
2 minutes.
only for a troll. You had the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers and the Usos. You give that time, that could have been a great tag team match right there. That was a 5-minute squash match. The Bludgeon Brothers destroyed Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and the Usos. Just squashed them for no reason. Then you look at the rest of the show. We get through all those shenanigans right there. AJ and Shinsuke, one of the most hyped up WrestleMania matches in WWE history, bro. If anybody ever saw their match in Wrestle Kingdom, bro, you thought this match was gonna cook. Like, bro, AJ and Shinsuke, this is what we wanted. Literally, after Shinsuke won the Rumble, he announced AJ right afterwards. He announced the agenda. That's what we're doing. This match was the third to the last match on WrestleMania. It had a good time, but by that time, the WrestleMania had been so long, the fans really was kind of dying out a little bit, and the match stuck up the joint. It was a very disappointment, not to mention Shinsuke lost and then turned heel for what? One of the most over baby faces in the company, turns heel afterwards, and then Shinsuke, you talk about steam dying down. His steam died down tremendously. He never touched the world title after that. He lost to AJ like what, 4 times in a row after that? Crazy stuff. And
kicking
then you
him
look,
in the nuts.
and then I already mentioned Braun Strowman, bro. The best thing they had for him was to team up with the Child at WrestleMania and win the tag titles, bro. They put him in the tag team title match. He comes out. We're waiting to see who his partner is, right? Who's going to be his partner? He's going out in the crowd. We think it's going to be somebody. He brings in a kid. And they literally won the he couldn't even hold up the damn belt, bro. This kid couldn't even hold the title over his head, bro. He was that small. He's 10 years old, bro. He couldn't even hold the title up. That's how little he was. He like this, bro. With the tag team titles at WrestleMania, bro. And then they gave him up the next night. He had to relinquish him because obviously the 10-year-old child, he can't defend the titles. He's in school still. So they had to literally give up the tag titles. They had them beat the Bar, which was one of the best tag teams in WWE at that time. They had to beat the Bar just to give up the tag titles at WrestleMania. And not to mention that main event, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, guys. The two guys in the company that fans legitimately hated more than anybody in the company at the time frame. In the main event of WrestleMania, the crowd literally chanted, "This is awful." Brock Lesnar threw the fucking title at Vince McMahon after the match because he knew that shit was duty cheeks, bro. That shit was garbage.
Go ahead, Mo. We only got 2 minutes, so he pretty much cooked. We can just expound.
This was a prime example of how horrid this era of WWE was, 2018. Because the night before was TakeOver New Orleans, the show that got me into NXT in the beginning, like full time. To follow it up with this, and for it to start so well, then for it to fall off a fucking cliff the way it did, right? Like AJ and Shinsuke was so bad not because of the expectations. No, it was bad because they put it third to last on a card that was already 4 hours long. Like that was the biggest disappointment of the weekend, man. They should have opened. If you ask me, they should have opened the show. Let them cook for 20 minutes, but no, they wanted to fumble. They want to mess with that so much for a match in the main event that nobody wanted to see. Like Malik said, the two people that were hated the most in the company.
Yep. They kind of spoke on everything here, to be honest with you. Once again, it's the only WrestleMania that I didn't watch the main event because I didn't give a fuck. And when you can do that at your biggest show to not make me care, that's a problem. The fact that all the people that the fans was behind and wanting to see when it came to Asuka and AJ and Shinsuke, for Vince to just say, fuck it, this is my show. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I don't give a fuck what you feel like. That's how I felt about this entire show. So, honestly, for me, it's a skip. Easy skip.
Perfect timing. I do just want to say, though, Mo, NXT TakeOver New Orleans, greatest pay-per-view I've ever seen in my life. Greatest pay-per-view I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
Yes. Let me rephrase that. Actually, no, I'm not going to rephrase it. It's the greatest
That's
pay-per-view
your
I've ever
opinion,
seen
man.
in my life.
That's your opinion. Hey, no,
It's a good opinion.
Great.
I'll say
Not mine, but that's a good
17,
one.
but I'll give you that.
That's a great opinion, bro. That's a great opinion.
No, yeah, I can't
All
get
in
mad at that one.
2021.
All right. Next up, Nate, Lewis, Jade, you guys ready?
Oh, we're ready. Because the worst WrestleMania of all time, as I've actually just learned, is WrestleMania 27. Because you want to talk about how bad the 2 world title matches at 34 were. Let's compare that to John Cena versus The Miz and Edge versus Alberto Del Rio. maybe the two most inconsequential world championship matches we have ever seen. Because The Miz was only there to set up Maia's bitch ass for twice in a lifetime. And there was no way Del
I
Rio
didn't say it.
was ever going to be Edge. So there's that. You want to talk about Undertaker versus John Cena? At least you remember that match. You know what we got?
Hold on.
Three-
Mo and Ross, you got to mute your mic, bro. Because somebody breathed into that mic heavily, bro. So you got to mute your mic.
I think it was
At least you
Low-key.
remember
That was
Taker
me.
versus John Cena. You know what we're throwing from WrestleMania 27? Pre-Stardust Cody Rhodes versus out of shape Rey Mysterio. That's what we're throwing. We're throwing the core versus the Big Show and a bunch of jobbers on a WrestleMania card.
Ooh.
Don't forget, Jade, you know what else we got? Mo's favorite wrestler of all time, the Great Khali, eliminated Sheamus in a battle royal.
So that's my point. I'm not going to take up any more time. I'll leave it to my colleagues. A lot of really bad shit happened at 34. At least we remember that really bad shit.
Let me run this card down really quick.
Go ahead.
Edge defeated Alberto Del Rio in 11 minutes and 6 seconds. Cody Rhodes he beat Rey Mysterio in 11 minutes and 58 seconds. Big Show, Kane, Kofi Kingston, Santino Morello defeated the Core in 1 minute and 32 seconds. Why the fuck is this even on the card? Randy Orton beat CM Punk 14 minutes 45 seconds. Good match.
Good match.
Michael Cole faced
Mm.
Jerry Lawler in a 13-minute match, but I believe the segment was like 30 minutes. Fucking terrible. John Morrison, Snooki, Trish Stratus, they defeated Dolph Ziggler and Lay Cool, 3 minutes,
Didn't even
16
want to bring that
seconds.
up.
And Miz and Cena went for 15 minutes and 21 seconds, but that shit was like a half hour. I don't care what Wikipedia says. That shit was a half hour.
Do we all know why WrestleMania 27 is one of the worst WrestleManias of all time? Do you know why? Because my Via bitch ass hosted it. He put together one of the worst cards we've ever seen. That's fucking why.
Hey, that opening segment, that nigga went on forever. Forever.
Yapping.
He
Put
just
on a
talked
yap fest.
and
His
talked
bald head.
and talked and talked. But why is your world title match 11 minutes, but The Rock is just talking and talking and talking? Do you not have anybody better in that position to? All right.
And you know what else we can capitalize too? At least Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they were the 1 and 2 in the company, depending on how you looked at Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Facts.
With The Miz, with my Via's bitch ass involved, your WWE champion, not just any WWE champion, your WrestleMania main event WWE champion who successfully retained was the third most important person that main event. That's fucking terrible.
And
That
the
is
thing
terrible.
The thing is, too, even though the results at WrestleMania 34 may have ended up being really shitty, and they were, at least there was hype. We were all hyped because we wanted to see what was going to happen with Taker and Cena. We were hyped about Brock Lesnar and Roman because we thought Roman was finally going to win. We were hyped about Shinsuke and AJ because we thought that match was going to change lives. We were hyped about Asuka. Now, none of that stuff happened, right? But at least there was hype going into it. The match with the most heat, I shit you not, going into 27 was Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. That match had the most heat of any match on that card, and that is saying something. No one cared a thing about any match on that card because everything felt like it was a SummerSlam, not a WrestleMania.
And you know what, Nate? Let me also say this too. At least with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, as much of a snooze fest that it was, at least they gave them time. At least you gave Shinsuke Nakamura, who was your Royal Rumble winner, at least you gave him time. You gave him 20 minutes. Alberto Del Rio was coming off the largest Royal Rumble win in WWE history and was only given 11 minutes to work with. 11. At least Shinsuke, the Royal Rumble winner, had time. Del Rio
And I forgot to mention Undertaker and Triple H. That's the one good match on this godforsaken.
I didn't want to bring
the
that
only
up
good match.
That was the only.
Just literally, it's a one match show. That's literally it. At least WrestleMania 34 had at least they had 2 good matches. At least this only had 1, bro. They had two matches that went under 5 minutes. What the?
Y'all can go into the rebuttal because you basically ended.
Can we start?
Yeah. Fuck Mania 34, by the way. We all feel that way.
So both are shitty WrestleManias. We were gonna either pick 27 or 34, by the way. We were picking one. But to go off the point Jay said, and this is what makes 34 even worse than 27. He said there was a lot of hype for 34, which there was, and that makes it even worse because we were really excited for some of these matches that shit the bed. We were excited for some of these moments, and they fumbled. Nobody really was hyped for 27 like that. Looking at a couple of matches, I don't think anybody really had any high expectations besides The Rock coming back, Triple H and Undertaker, and everything else was kind of in there. We had Shinsuke and AJ, we had Taker and Cena, we had Asuka and Charlotte. We had a lot of good moments on the show that we was excited for, and that's what made 34 even worse because all these big moments they had, they all ended up terribly. They fumbled the bag with all these moments. You had two of your Royal Rumble winners, not only not in the main event, but they both lost. And then one of them turned heel for no reason afterwards, which did nothing for him in the long run. Not to mention, I didn't even get to the other. So we had Jinder Mahal winning the U.S. title. Randy Orton was in the mid-card title at that point. You had Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, which was kind of like the backward story, which kind of didn't make sense because, Nia Jax was the one getting bullied by Alexa Bliss, who was a lot smaller than her. So you would think that storyline would go the other direction. And then they actually had a legit match when you thought Nia Jax was going to squash Alexa Bliss because she said she was going to do that in the promo. I'm going to squash you like a bug. And they actually had a competitive 10-minute match. So a lot of these moments, you got a lot of good points. 27. You had Del Rio, which nobody really, I don't think anybody really cared about him winning the Royal Rumble. So that was there. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you had Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, which is one of the worst WrestleMania matches I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? So you had a lot of bad moments, but the hype for WrestleMania 34, there was more hype for that because we had the expectations of how they were building it up. They were giving us what we wanted, only to not give us what we wanted in the end.
Well, here's what I'll say. Do you know what's worse than having a hyped up WrestleMania and not meeting expectations? Having a WrestleMania where you have no expectations to, and they still failed to meet those expectations. That is horrible. Malik, you know how you say about the 2015 Royal Rumble where the WWE crew, they just sat down together and said, how can we book the worst Royal Rumble of all time? That's literally what the WWE did with WrestleMania 27. They literally sat down at the table and said, how can we book the worst WrestleMania of all time?
You got a good point, but when your expectations are really low, they're just low. You don't really have any expectations for anything. When they're really high and they disappoint, that was one of the main issues WWE had around that 2018-2019 run, was that they would always give us these big expectations and then they would fuck it up in the end, and then that's what made Raw and SmackDown not watchable through those times, because it seemed like they was gonna get in the right direction. They was telling us, they had one of the biggest live promos when they all came out. They said, we hear you guys, we're gonna change, and we see social media and we hear the fans and everything, only to do the same shit over. They did the same shit. They basically came out on television telling us they was going to change everything, only to not do it. And that was WrestleMania 34 to the example. They had all the expectations right. You had Asuka and Shinsuke win the Rumbles, which a lot of people had wanted. Most of us had wanted to see that. And then they give us the matches we wanted. Now, Asuka losing to Charlotte, I don't think it was the end of the world, right? But did Charlotte really need to be the one to end the streak? No. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? It could have been somebody else. But I mean, look at all the other stuff that I named on the show. Cena and Taker was a squash match, bro. Like, you could have just not even had that match on the show at that point, bro, if we're being honest. Like, we had waited so long to see that match. Granted, Undertaker was past his prime. Cena wasn't Super Cena anymore. He already had one foot out the door to Hollywood, so they both weren't at their peak. But, we all had waited for this match, and we're like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We finally gonna get it. We were waiting for so long for it, only for it to be a squash match, bro. So a lot of us were like, bro, what was the point of this match? Honestly, bro, when that match ended, I was waiting for something to happen. I'm like, all right, something gonna happen, right? Like, that's not gonna be the end of it. And then it was the end. And then I'm like, okay, well, what are we doing here? What was the point of this, bro? Like, y'all gave us a squash match for what? For a troll, like Ross said, just because Vince wanted to, I guess, troll the Undertaker for I guess a rib or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd rather have 5 minutes
so
of
let me-
John Cena
hold on,
versus
let me
the Undertaker than 15 minutes of Lawler versus Cole.
Let me say this real quick. At least with WrestleMania 34, you guys still had overall solid matches. Like Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali on the pre-show, that was solid for the time that they were giving it. The triple threat IC title match, that was really good.
Very good.
Charlotte and Asuka, the match itself, not the decision, the match itself, it was still pretty solid. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey, people consider that one of the best debuts for a superstar ever for Ronda Rousey. That's full stop. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, people were so hyped for that match to see Daniel Bryan come back. I remember that match had a lot of hype because Daniel Bryan was coming back from injury. Everything else, I'll give you, but at least you guys had more solid matches than 27 did. 27 had 3 matches under 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
And look, man, I'm gonna read this. This is a WrestleMania match. This is not the WrestleMania 1, 2, 3, 4 when they had the little squash matches before WrestleMania was what it was. This is WrestleMania well into its identity as WrestleMania, bro. Big Show, Kane, Kofi Kingston, and Santino Marella versus Ezekiel Jackson, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Wade Barrett. That was a legitimate WrestleMania match. They sat down. They said, what is a match we can make for WrestleMania? Oh, we see Big Show and Kane's old ass. We'll get Kofi Kingston, who else? Santino Marella's goofy ass with his Cobra, and we'll grab Ezekiel Jackson, the last ECW champion for whatever reason. Wrinkly, bald-head Ezekiel Jackson with Justin Gabriel, Wendy's Heath Slater, and Wade Barrett, who is coming off of the Nexus, and who's in the core now, the failure that was Nexus in the core. They said, let's put these guys in a WrestleMania match.
You know what's even worse than that though? Sitting down in the creative
Nothing.
team and say, what's the best thing we have for Braun Strowman for him to team up with the fucking kid and win the tag titles at WrestleMania?
Hey,
is worse than that.
At least Braun Strowman was a draw. At least Braun Strowman was a draw. At least
That's
Braun
the
was a
best
draw.
thing. That's the best thing they had, and that makes it even worse.
Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole.
That makes it even worse.
No.
The best thing they had for one of their biggest draws was for him to win the tag team titles with a child at WrestleMania. Nothing can get worse than that, bro. Only for them
Hey, I'll
to
tell you
give
what's
up
worse.
the tag titles at WrestleMania the next night, bro.
I'll tell you what's worse. The Core. The Core is the worst
Core is
faction they've
way
ever
worse.
made. Core's fucking is atrocious, and they got a
Over Retribution?
WrestleMania spot.
A child got a WrestleMania spot for what?
Hey man, Nicholas deserved it over the Core. The Core wasn't doing
For
shit,
what?
bro. I don't care.
Bro, at that
least
point,
Nicholas-
at that
Nicholas-
point,
Nicholas
you
is
could have just
better
had a
than-
handicap match.
Hey,
I'd rather watch the
Nicholas
Core.
is a
I'd rather watch the
second
Core any
generation
day.
employee.
I'd rather watch the Core any day than watch Braun Strowman
Nah,
on the
bro,
tag
Nicholas
titles
is a
with
second
child, bro.
generation
At
WWE
least-
superstar.
At least,
Mike Keown
This
or
man's
whatever
10
his
years
name's
old,
not.
bro. This man's
At least
10 years old.
WrestleMania
For what?
34 At least at WrestleMania 34, the world champions, when they retained, were absolutely fine afterwards. AJ was still AJ, whatever these guys run. Brock is Brock. Nothing's going to happen to Brock. The Miz was literally doomed from the start when you put him in a position in the middle of a feud between my via bald, ugly Samoan bitch ass and Cena.
You know
was
what?
doomed.
The Miz was doomed, but what about the challenges afterwards? Asuka was losing to Carmella after she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania. Shinsuke, bro, turned heel and then was getting low blowed in
We didn't
every
even
match
have a
afterwards.
Divas title match on the card. So what are you talking about?
Nobody wanted to see a Divas title match on the card back then. So
We
what are
didn't
we
have
even
a
talking
Divas
about?
title match.
Bro, Asuka went from
my
being
God.
went from being the most dominant women's superstar in the company to losing to Charlotte, and then she lost to Carmella at 2 pay-per-views in a row.
Hey,
after
at
that.
least she wasn't the
Malik,
third. At least she wasn't the
Malik,
champion in
your
the third
United
wheel of their
States
old
champion-
feud.
Your United States Championship ended with the winner, ended with the title change. Our United States Championship ended in a no contest in a fucking lumberjack match.
All right, time.
Not, but
time,
not
time.
not to mention the U.S. champion was Jinder Mahal.
All right, time.
We didn't have a winner. We didn't have a winner.
Former WWE champion.
Nah.
man.
You say you didn't have a winner?
We
Time.
didn't have a winner.
All right.
A WWE champion that nobody liked.
Wait, I
Hey,
ain't gonna
hey.
lie to you. They made
Oh.
some fantastic voices. This nigga said the fucking Core. Who the fuck?
No, G, go ahead and announce the winner, bro.
The
No,
Core,
hey,
bro.
I'm
What's
not
up
gonna
with the
hold
fucking
you. I'm not
Core,
gonna
bro?
hold you. That back and forth.
That's just comedy.
Bro,
Hey,
there's
hey,
no
oh,
way.
man,
There's no way they
Malik
literally
and I
sat
get
down.
going, it's crazy.
There's no way they literally sat down and said, "What's the best thing we have for Braun Strowman?" Nicholas. Let's do it, Nicholas. There's no
They
way,
looked
bro.
at his
It's
dad,
not
bro.
possible.
I swear they looked at his dad was like, "Bring your son, bring your son, dog."
That's the best thing.
At least
You telling me
that-
Vince said in a creative room and said, "All right, we need something for Braun Strowman. Who's he gonna team up with? I have a child.
Bro.
I have a child
Bro.
that
At
wants
least
John
y'all had
Cone.
Ron- at
His
least
name
y'all
was
had
John
Ron-
Cone.
At least y'all had Ronda Rousey, bro. We had fucking Snooki doing Wendy's barbecues.
Hey,
Yo,
somebody said the
Snooki
core
is
was
crazy,
just members of the Nexus. CM Punk didn't want.
I mean, wait.
Low-key.
You know what I never understood about 27? How lame it was is the core had a match, and then with Randy
Bro.
and CM Punk, the Nexus was banned. Bro, you had like two members.
This is what WrestleMania was right here. This is what WrestleMania was right here. Where'd that comment go? Where'd that comment go? WrestleMania 34. Where'd that comment go?
Yeah,
That-
it was
that's-
like, which one would you
That's
rather
what it was.
rewatch?
That's what it was.
WrestleMania?
Bring your kid to work day. That's what it was. That's what WrestleMania 34 was. Let's bring your child to work, bro. You remember?
I'm not
remember
just
growing
saying this
up-
for this heated debate. I would rather watch Nicholas team up with Braun than see Snooki on my fucking screen again. I swear. At least
well,
Nicholas, he was ready to square up. He was
Yeah,
about
hey,
that
I'm not
business.
gonna lie.
He said,
I'm not gonna lie.
Nicholas.
I'm not
bro?
gonna lie.
Nah,
This is
bro, that's
probably the best debate because I feel like all your counterpoints eat each other.
good. And the match was 4 minutes. It was 4 minutes.
When Nicholas said,
Nicholas tagged in.
Malik,
He tagged in.
hold on,
Hey,
hold
I
on, hold on,
swear,
hold on,
Malik-
hold on,
Malik
hold
will
on.
go
Spooky was 3
crazy.
minutes and 16 seconds. It was 3 minutes.
4 minutes.
It was 3 minutes.
Braun
Spooky was
Strowman and
We
Nicholas.
just
Career
get-
day.
Well, he did
Every
tag
time
in.
we rebuttal
Did he
each
really
other
tag?
in
He did
WrestleMania,
tag
He
into
tagged
it.
in.
Yes,
He
Nicholas
He
did
did.
tag
He
in.
did.
Look at this
He tagged in. He squared up and everything.
Hold
Bro,
on,
he
wait,
couldn't
wait,
even
wait,
hold
wait,
up
wait,
the
wait,
title,
wait, wait,
bro.
wait. Hold on.
couldn't even hold up
Are
the
we
title.
forgetting? Hold on. Are we forgetting in WrestleMania 27 we had that ugly ass frog splash? Fucking Vicky Guerrero did.
No, that was 26.
No, that was
26. That was 26.
All right,
That was
my fault,
26.
my
You're
fault.
mixing your
Okay,
bad
well,
manias.
well, I'm gonna go because I'm not gonna lie. This was great. But
By the way,
I'm
Jinder
gonna-
Mahal won the U.S. title over
But we
Rusev
didn't even
Day,
have a winner
Bobby
for the
Roode,
US
and Randy
title.
Orton. Come on.
We didn't
Yeah,
have
that
a
fatal
we didn't
four-way, I
have a winner
forgot.
for the US
Rusev
title.
Day.
We didn't have a mid card
US
title match, bro. We didn't have a single
We
mid card
had
title.
one.
That's
Where
right.
was the
No
IC
contest.
title?
okay. Hey, this is.
I don't
We
even know
can
who the
talk
IC
about it.
champion was, bro.
Hey, we can talk about it. We can talk
Probably
about
Wade
it.
Barrett.
We could talk about it after because apparently we need to put more energy into slandering other things. So we could talk about those two manias later.
Equal opportunity slanders.
Yeah, look, you would've-
However,
Relax, y'all gotta
I
relax.
love all the points y'all made.
That's crazy.
Malik, I will say because so the winner was 27. Malik, y'all almost had it though, and the reason why when you said
Fuck
having
my vehicle.
a good build up and then not meeting those like a great build up and being excited and not meeting those expectations, I was like, yeah, that's tough. And then I'm not gonna lie, Nate, you kind of secured it when you went down the matches, and then you mentioned at least they had like at least 34 had good matches but bad finishes.
Yeah.
There was not a single good match other than Undertaker and Triple H on that 27 card.
Yeah, CM Punk
Like-
and Randy was cool. CM Punk and
Oh
Randy
yeah,
was
CM
good.
Punk and
It's
Randy was
cool.
cool, but like
We could have put that on Raw though.
That was a
Like,
great
yeah.
RKO.
yeah, that was a great RKO. But like and I think they had a good build as well. But when you look at 34, yeah, there was definitely some good matches, just bad decisions. It was kind of like night 2 of this past Mania. Good matches.
Ain't that your
bad
favorite night?
decisions.
Ain't
Not
that
as
your favorite
bad,
night?
but
What's your favorite night,
Oh,
dog?
but-
We
Like
even
definitely
had
not
a
as
good night 2 yet. Have
Hey,
we had a
but-
really good night 2 yet, which is good decision?
Nope. This year.
We haven't had it yet.
Yeah, this
We
year.
haven't
But
had it yet.
one thing I will say, I don't care, Malik. I don't care
Who
what
said
anybody
Rusev Day was
says.
terrible? Relax. Watch your mouth.
Charlotte beating Oscar was the end of the world.
no, it was not.
Damn.
It took her a while, but she recovered.
Mo.
It
No.
took her a while, but she
No.
recovered.
You want to know why I don't think she recovered? I think the fans cheer her, but they cheer Liv Morgan, so that doesn't mean that much.
Oh, here
Right,
we go.
Damn.
Here's
Here's
what
my
I
thing.
say.
No, but
I don't
wait,
think-
hold
I
up,
don't think-
wait.
Go ahead,
Because
go
here's
ahead,
the thing
go
though, because Oscar, Malik said it first, she lost, and then all of a sudden she
Carmella.
couldn't beat Carmella. That was the first thing. The
was
second thing, bro, you say she recovered. No, she didn't, and here's why. Hey, she beat Becky Lynch. The only reason she beat her is because they needed an excuse to get her in the Rumble.
Cool.
Then once she beat her, what did she do after that? Lost to
beat her.
Charlotte.
Lost to Charlotte.
Again.
One of the worst moments ever.
I
Yep,
think,
go ahead.
in my opinion, I don't
She
think
lost to Rhea Ripley when Rhea Ripley was still wearing the blonde short
Yeah.
bob thing.
Rhea
that she
Ripley
had going
pulled up
on.
and said, "I'm fighting you at Mania." She was like, "Okay."
and lost.
And
And
lost.
lost.
So
And
in my-
remember, that was the Mania where Charlotte couldn't be. Rhea Ripley and Oscar were literally the last match on the card.
Yep.
They were the by default.
I think, in my opinion,
Technical
I
issue, one
don't
second.
think the loss was the beginning of the end for Asuka. I feel like the way she lost it. If Charlotte would have just did a natural selection and then they did a 1, 2, 3, but Asuka's foot was on the rope, and then you lead that to the next pay-per-view, I don't think anybody would bat an eye. But it's the fact
Did she
she
even get a
tapped out and
rematch?
she looked like a
Did-
bitch.
Tapped out.
Did Oscar
No, she
even
didn't
get a
get a
rematch? No,
I
because
don't think
Carmella
so.
cashed
Carmella
in,
was
so she just lost to Carmella.
Well,
That's what-
Carmella,
okay,
yeah.
thanks.
Carmella.
All right, so
And then,
WrestleMania.
she couldn't beat, and then she couldn't beat Carmella.
But I feel like it's the way she lost. If they
'Cause
did
of
the
James
natural
Ellsworth,
selection
bro.
and then they put her foot on the bottom rope and that leads
and then
to
she
whatever.
started getting, the roll up,
Well, I
the
wanna
roll up in. You can
Well, I
always
wanna
tell when
say-
WWE.
Backwoods.
I can't. I hate when WWE says we don't like you. So anytime you get in a submission, you just get rolled up every time. They were doing that with Samoa Joe for the longest, and they did it with Shayna Baszler, and I can't stand it.
How do you think
Anyways.
Xavier Woods won most of his matches from 2020 to 2023? Backwoods
Wait, what?
all day. Bro, it
Oh
got
yeah,
so,
with the
it got
yeah.
so over. He went on Twitter, made a compilation. He said, "It's official, guys. The Backwoods."
Oh,
Okay, G, who won? Who won?
27.
WrestleMania 27. So
Okay,
you guys.
I've
so
been
this-
trying to
Oh,
contain myself the entire debate, and I was doing my best to help the 34 out. But goddamn, I hit 27. So the one time, I begged my mom for weeks to let me buy 27. Weeks.
No.
She said, okay.
You sound like
Oh,
a leech.
Damn.
She said, you can buy it, but don't ask me again. I bought it. I sit there
I like
and watch
that
it.
impression.
I'm all excited. We have Rocks in there yapping, stat padding on time for the longest time, just saying absolutely fucking nothing. And I love The Rock, but he was saying absolutely nothing. And then
You love him?
forget all the little. That's not the point. The core. That's all I'm gonna say. The core. The core.
Hey, they had a
You
fire
have
theme though.
Michael Cole. Yes, they did. You have Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler for 30 minutes. A guy who is washed and another guy who has never wrestled in his life.
Hey, don't forget Jack Swagger was there too.
Jack
Jack
Swagger.
Swagger's
Alright,
face
bro.
was on the screen, so fuck that already.
Alright,
Right?
can't say
And
nothing.
then
Stone Cold couldn't
All
even say
American
that.
Americans. Jack
Stone
Swagger.
Cold.
And then you
By the
have
way-
Stone Cold was the ref. Stone Cold was the ref.
Real quick, before
Oh,
we
what's
go-
the ref?
I will just
Jerry
say, I will
Lawler
just
win
say,
the match. Go ahead.
real quick, I just want to say before we move on, there are things from each episode that stick with me that we do of this show that I think of later and laugh. What I'm going to be thinking of later, laying in bed trying to go to sleep, is Malik's going to pop in and go, I have a child.
I just before
Jerry
before we
Lawler-
move on, I just want to point something out. This is a real photo, right, babe? This is a real photo, by the way. He can't even hold up the title, bro. He can't even hold the fucking
What we
title.
doing?
It's a real photo, bro. Can't even hold
Oh
the
my god,
I ain't gonna
bro.
lie,
Look at
by
him
that,
go.
by that
Jerry
photo
Lawler
alone,
wins.
I ain't gonna lie, Malik. If you would have put that photo up, y'all probably would have won. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can't even
Jerry
hold up the
Lawler
title,
wins.
bro. Come on, man.
Jerry Lawler
Hold on,
wins by
before we go, Ross. For clip purposes, what is your least favorite Mania of all time, man?
Least favorite Mania.
Please be
We
my
was-
via main event.
We was making a great point for 34. To argue
By the way,
that.
I 24 and 30, 27, 34, they're kind of equal to me, so I don't really have a.
I'm still go with 27 because I ain't gonna lie to you. Michael Cole was fucking insufferable. That whole
Yeah,
Raw
bro.
general manager comes in
Was
and lets him
just-
win the match off DQ, and then you have The Rock come in when Miz and Cena win by fucking it's double count out. You have Rock come in and yell at a fucking laptop. He comes in and yell at a laptop.
Oh my god, bro.
Just
I'm
to
not
have
gonna
him
lie.
rock
I
bottom
might
Cena,
have to watch 27 for the memes, bro. I'm
just
not
to have
gonna
him
lie.
rock bottom
I
Cena,
have to, bro.
just for Miz to win
Background
again.
noise.
A
And then-
concussed Miz. A
And
concussed
then I
Miz,
get
by the
yelled
way.
at because I'm upset.
Yeah, he was pretty.
My mom's
fucked
like,
up,
"Why
man.
are you complaining? I paid all this money. Why are you complaining?"
I
Why
love
are you
that
complaining?
impression of your
No,
mom.
no, no. One
That
thing.
is
What
so
are you
good.
running?
What,
No,
one thing
listen,
I will say though.
I
One
never
thing I
watched.
I will always defend. I will always defend. I swear, if they knew Edge was going to retire, Del Rio would have won that title. I genuinely
probably,
believe
yeah.
Del
I am.
Rio.
I am.
I am the only Del Rio fan. I
I'm
actually
so
like
glad
Del
that
Rio.
never happened. For my sake, I am so glad.
Man,
Ooh,
I don't care.
I
I
need
always
to get
like
that off my
Del
chest.
Rio.
I was like,
I'll
waiting
have
for that
I'll have
the
my
entire
2 day
debate.
I'll have my 2 day reign. I don't care. I'm glad it happened.
I just hate that he cashed in on CM Punk. That's it. That's it.
All I'm gonna say, the worst Mania is number 9.
To me, it's just bad because
Oh, easy.
Del Rio.
No,
regardless how
11. I gotta say
people-
WrestleMania 11. WrestleMania 11.
But
Oh,
it's
11
just-
is
That's
terrible.
rough.
It's just so bad because regardless how you feel about Del Rio, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The man won the biggest Royal Rumble match ever, and you barely
well,
gave
I'm
him
sorry.
a little over 10
I'm
minutes.
sorry. That was
Alberto
that
Cabron,
was
that's what
that was
we're talking about?
that was Braun Strowman, greatest Royal Rumble, 50 minutes. Thank you.
It's not, that was non-canon. That was
That's
non-canon.
Mickey Mouse. That's
That was
Mickey.
non-canon.
I'm saying that's the biggest
Yeah, that's
Royal Rumble
Mickey
ever,
Mouse,
man.
dog. That's Mickey Mouse, dog.
Oh man.
And we can agree Del Rio's real peak was when he beat Big Show in that last man standing match, right? We can agree.
Yes.
Because that was when
It
I was
should have
really
been.
Del Rio. I
It
was
He had
should
that
have
new
been
thing?
when he was the WWE champion, but you know they did
that shit was mid as fuck.
Dun,
Bro.
dun,
Yeah,
dun,
because he
dun,
cashed in on
dun,
CM Punk.
dun,
I
dun,
promise you,
dun,
anybody
dun,
else.
dun, dun, dun,
Hey,
dun.
is that in your top 5
Hey,
cashes of
Hey,
all
I'm not
time?
gonna. Hey, Nate, you
What?
seen that theme song? His personal ring announcer, Goosebumps every time. Goosebumps every
Hey,
time.
I did that, bro. I did that for my skit, bro. My arm damn near red and shit.
Yeah, I know, my arm-
Hey,
TikTok,
question: is Alberto Del
TikTok
Rio
kept
cashing
fucking up.
CM Punk as SummerSlam in your top 5 cash-ins of all time?
Top 2.
Worst.
Oh my god. Oh, it's he
So Dolph Ziggler's
never
cash in is number 1, and CM
Yeah.
Punk getting cashed in is number 2. Love it.
Lucky CM Punk didn't catch it on Dolph Ziggler.
Side note, before we move on, because I know we still got 2 other questions. Because I meant to say this last time. You know what to me still makes zero sense? The fact that AJ Styles couldn't beat Chris Jericho at Mania in his debut, but Fandango could.
Yeah, that's
Hey man, Fandango better. Dirty Dango,
No,
Dango,
you know
man.
what?
Dirty Dango's a bigger TNA legend than AJ
Let me
Styles.
cook with you on that because
Relax.
it made no sense that AJ Styles lost to Chris Jericho just for AJ Styles the next night to win a number 1 contendership to face Roman Reigns at fucking Payback for the title.
That makes sense. That makes
It
any
made
sense.
zero sense, and then you wrote off Sami Zayn in that storyline for whatever fucking reason. Man, I
You
ain't
know what? At least it wasn't this, bro. At least it wasn't
All
this.
right.
He agrees
All
with
right.
Egregious.
All right.
bro.
Jade, Nate, how
This
we
is a
feel?
real photo. I can't make this up. This is a real photo. This is real. I can't make this
Bro,
up.
this nigga's holding it backwards.
He can't hold it
That's
up, bro.
insane, bro.
At least Khali held it upside down. He held
But
it.
don't get started. Don't get me started. That man
All right,
is
bro.
that's the Kwame Brown of that era.
You see,
Oh
but
my
you keep
god!
saying he's the Kwame Brown, but you're not mentioning my Via. He's the 100% the Kwame Brown.
No, bro.
The hatred, bro. The hatred's crazy.
All right.
He's
Kali's a
So
bona fide scrub.
Nate, Lewis, and Jade, y'all have
Alright,
y'all options.
Nate and
of
Jade,
either-
what are you comfortable with?
You guys are either if Becky Lynch doesn't win a Mania, who would you guys pick to beat her? And if you could take one person from AEW to WWE,
Let's do that second one. I want to do that second one.
The AEW one?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Nate, are you all right with it?
Once again, if you guys just tuned
Which
in,
one?
you guys
Which one
have
we
been
doing?
here,
Yeah,
like
which
the video,
AEW.
like
I
the
mean,
video.
which person are we picking? Picking.
What you gonna type, Jay?
I know we talked about a meme, but I don't know.
Hey, L1
Don't let
Lopez.
me pick that.
L1 Lopez or however you say it. Hey man, Pretty Deadly just ain't had the time yet, man. I don't know. Fandango and Fashion Files was they walked so that Pretty Deadly can run.
Pretty Deadly was getting momentum before Elton Prince got hurt. They
Yeah,
were
facts,
getting
bro.
major momentum.
Matter of fact, where have they been? Did they get hurt again? They haven't
Nah,
been
his
off the
shoulder's
league for
still
a minute.
been fucked, bro. He got really. It was
Ever since the match with when Pete Dunne got his name back, he got his shirt hurt again.
pretty much. It's just
Oh
pretty
my
bad.
god, man, come on.
But before they got hurt, they put on a really great match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, facts. I love Pretty Deadly. I wasn't a fan of their theme song when they first changed it because I still get PTSD. Anytime someone comes up to the main roster and they change their theme song, I get nervous because it's like I seen you do it before. But Pretty Deadly, I'm not gonna lie.
How y'all feel about that? Just to be on the safe side.
And I like. Wait, hold on.
Almost said pretty.
Pretty zesty, y'all wild, bro. If you don't see the vision, just say that, man.
Yo, this is
Pretty
Pretty
insane.
zesty
zesty
is
is
crazy.
crazy.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
You know
Lewis, I'm not
what's
gonna lie.
you know what's
Comparing
zesty?
The
This
Rock,
band.
Kwame
Get
Brown
that
is
ass
crazy.
band. I'm playing. I ain't banning yo.
Comparing The Rock to Kwame Brown is crazy.
I
not
feel you, Nate. I mean, I'm cool.
Mo, you're a
I'm cool.
Kareem fan.
I'm
Relax.
okay with it. If-
You
if-
are we
except-
comparing?
No, I'm
For
We gotta do that.
Kwame
Because
Brown.
we could say that he has more room to rise up, whereas the other
cool.
guys
I'm
are
cool if
kind
y'all
of
because
where they
that
are.
was the first name both y'all
Yeah.
agreed on. So if you guys want to
Okay.
do that, I'm all right with it.
Nate,
Okay,
you want to
Esther.
kick us off?
W Easter.
Uh,
Oh yeah, let me know when y'all ready. I got the time.
yeah, I can. If y'all want me to kick off, I can.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Nate.
yeah.
You didn't kick off
All right,
yet.
bet.
All right, man. Well,
Whenever 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Rick the Pimp, you know what I'm saying? Ricky Starks, you know what I'm saying? We gotta. I mean, besides Edge, Edge kind of said it. You know what I'm saying? He's The Rock, pretty much. But he's got a lot of charisma. He reminds me of The Rock as far as charisma. I know you don't like The Rock moves, but he's got a lot of charisma. He's got a lot of fashion. He can talk on the mic. He can roast your favorite wrestler, and he is WWE through and through. I mean, you just look at him. In AEW, he's done some great things, but in WWE, I think he could do better. I feel like that's an environment that is better fit for him. That's more sports entertainment. He can talk more because we know WWE tends to focus more on promos, and that's Ricky's strongest. That's his strongest. His strongest attribute is his promos. So, and plus he can go in the ring. We all know he can go in the ring. And if he put him down in NXT, put him in a promo with Mello. Oh my God, that promo will go crazy. Put him in a program with Trick. Put him in a match with Dragunov. I will pray for Ricky. I will pray for him. But that match will go crazy. I mean, and then you move him up to the main roster. He have a feud with LA Knight. I mean, just imagine the promos him and LA Knight would have. And I just feel like ever since he lost the titles. Hell, honestly, ever since he won the title, I feel like they're just buying time before his contract is up, before he goes to WWE anyway. Because you look at him, he's just a WWE guy through and through.
To piggyback off what you said, I really want to touch upon promos because I think everybody here, especially when it comes to AEW, I think everybody has MJF as a top 3 mic worker. I personally feel like the only 2 times I've ever seen MJF be put in a box, one was from CM Punk, the other was from Ricky Starks after Ricky Starks won the Battle Royal. Ricky Starks put MJF in a box, and when I mean in a box, I'm not talking about flaming him. I'm talking about leaving him completely speechless, didn't know what to say. And if you can make MJF speechless to the point where he doesn't know what to say afterwards, and he has to go off script and kick you in the nuts to keep the segment going, then that shows that you really a raw motherfucker on the mic. Because only 2 people have done that in AEW history, and that's CM Punk and Ricky Starks. And like we said, when it comes to WWE, I look at two components that are the main attributes when it comes to WWE. That's character work and that's mic work. And Ricky Starks has both. Ricky Starks has both. So you put him in WWE, he's going to excel on the mic work. And we see his best comparison when it comes to WWE is LA Knight. He would literally be LA Knight. Charismatic, can work on the mic. And honestly, when it comes to in-ring, he's a little bit better in-ring than LA Knight. So you give Ricky Starks the time, the potential that he has is through the roof. So go ahead, Jade.
We thought about going with an obvious answer, right? Of like a Will Ospreay, a Kenny Omega, someone who's going to come in and immediately provide dream match content, right? You think about Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns versus Will Ospreay, and it sends chills up your spine. But the thing about Ricky Starks and the point where he's at in his career is I think the scary thing about Ricky Starks and how good he is that I don't think he's gotten anywhere near his ceiling yet. I think Ospreay and Omega are pretty much there, and they're 2 of the best in the world. But I don't think I think a move to WWE for either of them would be lateral. I don't think they would be improving going one way or the other. Whereas Starks, if you let him go over to NXT and just run shit for a couple of years, have a dominant Adam Cole style NXT championship reign, and then move him up into a Money in the Bank winner. Ricky Starks is what Austin Theory fans want Austin Theory to be, and more. Ricky Starks is everything that people want Austin Theory to be. But unfortunately, as time is now proving, Austin Theory, when he's on screen, there's just something missing there. And say what you want about Ricky Starks and his booking in AEW, I don't think you can look at Ricky Starks and what he's done and say anything is missing. But if you take him from the small pond of AEW, plug him into WWE, oh my God, you have got a star immediately.
30 seconds.
I also feel like, too, Ricky Starks, take this however you want to take it, but Ricky Starks has also shown to elevate championships with the limited amount of time that he's able to do. When they threw the FTW title on him, Brian Cage completely killed it because Brian Cage is a charisma vacuum, and the booking of the FTW title wasn't good. But in the beginning of that run before Ricky Starks got hurt and they just kept the title on him, Ricky Starks was actually putting on really good matches, and he was actually making that title worth the fuck more than the TNT title at the time.
Also, fuck Chris Jericho. All right, that's it.
Also,
Yeah, fuck
Brian
my deal.
Cage. I don't know why he's still wrestling. Honestly, I don't understand.
He's a very good wrestler. Just that's where it stops.
That's it. That's it.
You know who that sounds like? Bret Hart. But we won't talk about that right now. People up top, are you ready?
Most.
Let's go.
Yep.
All right, 5 minutes on the clock.
ahead, say,
3,
Kenny.
2, 1, go.
So we chose MJF. I think MJF's appeal is that you can plug him into any situation and he works. And the thing is, we never know exactly if he's in character or not. The man is perfect at keeping kayfabe. He's a great heel, and that's how I would bring him in personally. And he's a pretty good face as well, right? Great storyteller. And the thing is, people have said that he's a TV merchant, a TV 14 merchant, right? False. If MJF is as good as everyone says he is on the mic, which I think he is at level. MJF could come in right now. The greats will adjust to any situation you put them in. That's what the greats do. We already know he's a great in-ring performer, right? CM Punk's over there. Their story's not done. That's unfinished business. You can continue that right there.
No, fair point. I'm definitely, with the MJF thing, I think what works for him, and especially he fits sports entertainment more than people want to recognize in AEW, because at the end of the day, he's telling you the story. He gets you to buy into the match. He makes you want to see it. That's why he doesn't have to do all the flips and dives and all this other stuff, because wrestling has been predicated on making you feel something. And whether you hate him, whether you love him, he makes you care and you're invested in his words. Once you got someone invested in just your words, everything else is kind of subjective at that point. Yeah, the match may be good, but people will have expectations for it to be somewhat good because of you already got them in the seats. So I already know if you're able to bring him over, yeah, it doesn't have to be TV 14. I think he still would be able to provide. We've seen great promo segments, and they haven't been TV 14 because you care about what they're saying, you believe what they're saying, and you're invested. So I think instantly, whenever he finish up in WWE, in AEW, I do see him coming over to WWE, because I already know for a fact that the stories that he can tell with CM Punk, with Cody, with hell, you can have him in a back and forth with Paul Heyman in a backstage segment. I've heard about you, like the stuff that they can go off on. That's cinema, and you don't have to teach that with him because he already has that knowledge. Like my guy here said about Austin Theory, some of these things he's missing, but with MJF, you can just kind of plug and play him into a situation and he'll fit right in, only because he's so good at just at the promos, at the wrestling, and he already has that full package at such a young age. I think he fits in the WWE system more than people want to realize. You just take off all the extra cursing, for the most part, he still works. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like you put MJF in WWE, he can match up with anybody. He can match anybody on promos. He could have good matches with anybody on the roster. I know people always want to talk about, well, he wouldn't be able to cut the edgier type promos that he cuts in AEW and everything, but he doesn't really have to. I think that would show more of his character and bring more charisma out of him for him to adapt to the WWE style. You know what I mean? A lot of people was always comparing him to The Miz, saying that he was like The Miz in AEW and stuff like that. But you put MJF up against The Miz, he could really go toe-to-toe with The Miz and maybe cook The Miz on the mic if he really wanted to. I mean, not saying that he would, but MJF, I feel like, has the embodiment of WWE Superstar when it's Extreme Total Package. He has the character work. He stays in character all the time. He can cut promos. He can have good matches with your mid-carders, with your main event talents. He can obviously be in a tag team. He's already proved that as well with Adam Cole. So he can do every aspect you could ask for within WWE. It's all about adapting to the system, which I think he would adapt to very well. Not to mention, we all know the backstory of him growing up as a huge WWE fan. So I think he would fit very well in there. I think Triple H would do tremendous things with him. I think he would instantly want to make him one of the top stars by building him up in the proper manner to make him one of the top stars in the company. So I think MJF would be a perfect fit with WWE.
Gee, they called you D'Lo Brown, bro.
I know it's not new. 30 seconds, guys, or are you guys done?
No, we can go ahead and rebuttal.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I agree with everything you guys said with MJF. The only issue with MJF coming to WWE is he would just be another number. WWE has so many stars right now that someone of MJF's caliber would be wasted in WWE right now. He would easily be overshadowed by Roman Reigns, easily overshadowed by Cody Rhodes. Not even it's because on the pecking order of the booking, you're going to put Cody above MJF. You're going to put Roman above MJF. You're going to put Gunther above MJF the way you've been building Gunther up. There's no room for MJF. It would be his detriment to go to WWE as of right now. As of right now, him stepping into WWE, it'd be a detriment to his character and to his value as a superstar. MJF should be the face of whatever company he steps into. And he's not going to be the face of WWE. He might be the face of NXT, but that's too low for MJF. Ricky Starks, You put him in NXT, easily the face of NXT right there. Him and Dragunov can have a feud. They can go off. Dragunov can go to the main roster. Ricky Starks can do that because MJF right now is a level above MJ. He's levels above. MJF's levels above Ricky as of right now. Ricky has he has a ceiling that he needs to punch through. As MJF, he is that star, and you cannot put him right now next to the caliber of stars that you have in WWE, because that is, to me, a waste of his talent and his potential. He needs to be the face, the centerpiece of whatever company that he's in. You put him in WWE, I'm sorry, there's too many guys that they've already established, and it's going to take a little bit more time for him to be that guy. When he walks in, he should be that guy. If he walks into WWE tomorrow, he's not going to be that guy.
All right, let me counter that point. I would agree with you if this was Vince McMahon era. This is not Vince McMahon's era. So this is why things are different when you bringing in talent, because I feel like I trust more of what they would do with MJF. Of course, obviously, you know, more the casual fans will know who Cody is, know who Roman is. Obviously, that's cool. But the same thing would be with Ricky. He would have to ultimately get to that point, regardless whether you put him in NXT on the main roster. I think with MJF, I think you put him there in that situation because for the simple fact that I think he will get people to care. They will book him in situations where people will actually care, because regardless, bringing in someone new that the hardcore wrestling fans may know, you're going to always have to build them up. It's going to take some time. But I don't think it's going to take MJF too long because of his charisma and how he comes off in his storytelling and the feuds that they can have with the people they have now. You put him in a situation to revitalize that feud with CM Punk, people are going to buy into it. People are going to buy into it because of the person he's going into. But now people are going to be listening to what this new up-and-comer, even though we know who he is, but the casual fan, like, who is this guy? Oh, shit, he going toe-to-toe with CM Punk. He going toe-to-toe with Roman Reigns. He's going toe-to-toe with Cody Rhodes. Oh, they have some history. Oh, damn, what's going on here? Now you have them interested because you already put them with a top-tier talent, and now that talent is going to do what they can to bring them up. But I think they automatically – I think he'll just be able to adjust a little bit easier. It wouldn't take him long.
So two things to that real quick, Lewis. Sorry. To kind of emphasize what Nate is saying, I think that in this case, comparing these two situations, MJF's success is kind of a hindrance because, again, like you can't bring MJF over and put him in NXT, but you also can't bring MJF over and put him immediately into the world title picture. So there's kind of this conundrum, whereas Ricky Starks is still kind of this raw project almost, and putting him in NXT actually makes sense. And then we're talking about, bring MJF over because there's all these existing storylines. So we want to bring MJF over so we can rehash the past, which is exactly the thing that we've told WWE time and time again we do not want. We don't want to rehash the past. We want fresh matchups. We want fresh stories. We want to look towards who is carrying the company into the future. We don't want to look at the things that have happened already. But now we're asking them to bring MJF over and do exactly what we don't want them to do. Let's rehash CM Punk and let's rehash all this stuff. There's just so much more. There's so much more room to grow, and there's so much more new stuff to do with Ricky Starks. And Ricky hasn't done anything in his promos. He hasn't slapped a drink out of anybody's hand. He hasn't spit in a kid's direction or whatever. He hasn't done any of these things that makes me think that what he does can't be easily translated to WWE. And with MJF, there's always going to be that question. Now, whether or not you want to believe that his talent is going to trump that, that's obviously your opinion. But he has to prove it, and I don't think Starks has that roadblock in the way.
So before I make a rebuttal, I got to point something out. So I don't know if people are throwing super chats in the chat. So if you donate money, do not put any money in the chat because we aren't reading comments for this episode. This isn't a read comments podcast. We're having debate discussions, for people to engage in stuff. That's what this podcast is for. So if you're throwing out money in the chat, we ain't gonna be looking at the chat for the super chats, okay? We appreciate the donations, but this isn't one of those chats where we looking at people's questions and stuff like that. We're having debates so people can engage and put their 2 cents in as well. So we're really focused on the debates. We're not really looking at, most of the chats and stuff. So I just wanted to point that out because I'm looking at in the chat and then I didn't even know there were being donations in the chat. So I saw somebody point that out, So if you're making donations, we appreciate it, but we're not really looking at the chat, to read super chats for this, just for this particular episode. Now, any other episode would be different, but right now we're just really doing debates, as far as, for people to engage in what the topics we're talking about. So
If we got
now,
time, we'll read it after. If we have
yeah, if we got
like we normally do.
So to point out, to go back to Nate's point, he brought up that that if MJF were to come in, he would kind of be overshadowed, which could be true, could not be true. But I just want to point out, they said the same thing about Cody Rhodes when he came back to WWE. A lot of people really didn't know what the expectations for were Cody when he left AEW because he was in an executive position of a higher power. And if you look back 2 years ago, how many of us really would have said that Cody Rhodes is going back to another main event of WrestleMania against the biggest star in the company? I don't think anybody ever saw those expectations for Cody Rhodes. Granted, they already knew who Cody Rhodes was in WWE because he was a WWE guy, but most people didn't know Cody Rhodes as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. They only knew him as Stardust the last time they saw him. So most people, there's still people who think Cody Rhodes is mid right now because most of them didn't see the journey that he went on outside of WWE. So they never saw what he did to build himself up as that main event caliber guy outside of the company. So I think it really all goes to booking. Yeah, you have Gunther, Roman Reigns is there whenever he shows up. You have Seth Rollins there. You have, CM Punk is back now. So they have all these other top guys, but I think MJF would mesh very well. Granted, he wouldn't be the face of the WWE. I don't think he would be labeled as the face, maybe like he is in AEW. So you bring up a good point with that. But I think he fits in very well with WWE system. I think he has great feuds with top guys like CM Punk, like Cody Rhodes. I think Triple H is a storytelling type person. He understands the history between the guys. He listens to people and he understands, okay, you guys had a little thing over here. Let's bring that to over here and let's tell the story here, but WWE, but let's make it a little bit different. And like Ross said, when they talk about promos and they talk about, they're saying stuff about happened back then. Well, people are always asking us, when we make content, well, what happened with this? Can you make a video on that? Because some people may not have saw it. So if they hearing MJF talk about, him and Punk having their history, okay, let me go back to AEW clips and let me look at, now I understand the story aspect and where they're going. So I think it really all just matters of where they position him and where they booked him. And I trust Triple H to do more of that than I would have Vince. If this was 5 years ago, then I would have been I wouldn't have been on boat with you guys. I would have been like, nah, I don't really with that. But they said the same thing about Cody when he came back, and not a lot of people really thought Cody was going to be pushed the way he's been pushed.
So if I may, real quick. So if I may, I saw both Ricky Starks and MJF's rises in AEW. The one thing that I can really say that Ricky Starks would excel a little bit more on than MJF is the time, because when you're a new superstar coming into the WWE, the time that they give you, you're not going to get a whole bunch of time. The time that they were giving MJF, they were giving him very solid 6, 7, 8-minute promos. When Ricky Starks was starting in AEW, they gave him maybe 2 minutes max. Ricky Starks got over on 2-minute promos, while it took MJF a very long time for him to get over on 8-minute promos. Not discrediting MJF's mic work, but that's what I saw in my observation, that Ricky Starks was able to pull off less, or was able to pull off more with less. So I feel like if both of them go into the WWE and they have the same opportunities, like LA Knight is the perfect example. LA Knight was given maybe 1 minute of mic work at a time, and he was able to make that work. And I personally feel like Ricky Starks, with the situation he was in AEW, he would be able to do that and capitalize on that more than MJF possibly could. Because I think we're all assuming that MJF goes to WWE and he's just going to be this big star right out of the gate. We don't know that. But hypothetically, in this scenario that I'm thinking of, if they just go in, the same way I'm thinking of, like the way how LA Knight was, they get a minute or two of mic time. I think Ricky Starks is going to excel in that more than MJF, because MJF needs those long promos for him to really get over, while Ricky Starks, you give him 2 minutes and he's going to work it.
Time. Alrighty, we almost at the 2-hour mark, so I'll give my answer and explain why. Obviously, I think this has been a very even debate all across, but I am going to give the slight edge to MJF, only because the main part that really won me over, because I was really rocking with the Ricky Starks, y'all brought up Cody Rhodes coming in and seeing what he could do. And I think that kind of shows me like MJF could do the same. And then Lewis, even though you brought up great points that Ricky Starks did do more with less, I feel like MJF, even though he wasn't exact same as Cody, because Cody had a higher position in the company, I feel like Cody and MJF are both similar in the way they like to get their stories across, where they can't do it in 1 minute and 2. And just in my opinion, I feel like even with that, MJF, if Cody can be as big, I feel like if Cody can be as big as he is now, I feel like MJF could do the exact same, just heel. Now, he won't be the face, because right now it's still Roman, and maybe Cody can be the face after he wins a Mania. But so I definitely think he wouldn't be the face when he got there. And I actually do agree with Nate that like Ricky Starks, I think, especially if you put him in NXT, he can easily be main event quicker and probably catch
These
on.
two are both Cody guys too. Like
Exactly. But I think MJF, if he came to WWE, he wouldn't win anything like off the rip, but he definitely kind of did the same as AEW run, but it wouldn't take as long for him to get to the world title. All right, so we're going to the last one, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm really looking forward to see what y'all answers are, because I don't even know the answer to this. So it is 2-2 right now. And the final question: if Becky Lynch does not win at WrestleMania, who would you book to be the one to dethrone Rhea Ripley? It's open-ended. I don't care who you pick. If you argue it as well as you can, you guys are getting that win. Because I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know who I would pick. I'm not gonna lie, I don't. You know what I mean? So
who we believing on, Nate?
Check.
All right, I think we already have our answer. So I mean,
all right, if you guys are ready to go.
So we talk. So just for the sake of this argument, like we're just supposed to convince you, right? Like we're so are we supposed to hype this person up and milk it as much as we can?
Look, I am not going to tell you how to argue your point, but I will say the goal is, like, for example, let's just say for sake of argument, somebody picks Charlotte and the other person picks Bianca, right? Let's just say, just for sake of argument, you guys need to argue why that person beating Rhea Ripley would be the better option than anybody else. So you guys are basically like, I know it's the whole women's division.
We got it.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, I think we should go with that then.
All right,
I like that one.
Malik.
All right, so
that's risky, but I'm with it.
I'm gonna start off. So I'm gonna start off. So who we're gonna choose? You could pick other options because the superstar really may not need it because she's already been solidified. But we're gonna go Bianca Belair, but heel Bianca Belair. So a lot of us been waiting for Bianca versus Rhea to happen because most of us thought we were going to get it last year. It didn't get to happen. We thought we was going to get it a while back afterwards, that too. And if you look at that promo Bianca kind of had on SmackDown, it was kind of, I guess you say, out of the ordinary that she had, where she was kind of trash and damage control. Usually, you know, Bianca was like, be more understanding, but it kind of seemed like she kind of bringing out the mean persona, you know what I mean? Somebody who beats Rhea needs to be a dominant force, right? And we think there are some people out there who are going to say one person, and you could say that one person, but she hasn't really done much yet to really show, I think, a lot of us that she's that right option, you know what I mean? But if you do it Bianca Belair, but as heel Bianca, now you have Bianca with a different persona. She's already dominant. She's proven she could be a dominant babyface champion. She had a dominant run as babyface champion. We haven't seen her have a dominant run as heel champion ever because she never won the NXT championship when she was the heel, and she wasn't presented as a heel on the main roster. She was instantly thrown as a babyface. So we've never really seen that persona, and a lot of people, I think, have been waiting for Bianca to flip that switch and turn heel because I think a lot of people are dragged out with the babyface version of Bianca. Bianca and Rhea is inevitable to happen. I mean, after Rhea, if she beats Becky, she's done beating all the top people on Raw. You know what I mean? She's done smoked everybody. We all assume maybe there's going to be a little draft because they do kind of a little bit of a draft, you know, every year. If they end up doing the draft and you throw Bianca on Raw, we haven't seen Bianca and Rhea yet. That's a fresh new matchup. Like I said, somebody who beats Bianca needs to be somebody. At least somebody who beats Rhea, at least to me, it needs to be somebody dominant and believable. You can make a new star out of somebody else if they were to beat them, because Bianca doesn't need to be made a new star. She's already solidified. But as far as from a storyline perspective, as far as somebody who's believable, I think heel Bianca screams all the categories you're looking for.
Definitely. I agree with your points. I like how you mentioned talking about her kind of bringing out more of that heel-like persona, even though it's justified with what happened with her with damage control. But the reason why I feel like that fits only because Rhea's going to be a face. There's nothing we could do about that. They have her in a heel gimmick. but she's a face. Where she's by herself, people are going to cheer her. People are going to chant mommy. So there's nothing we can do about that. So WWE most likely will start to play that up as time goes along because she's just overwhelmingly popular. So to counteract that, I think someone that's always been booked as a babyface on the main roster slowly start to descend, not because they just want to be a bad person, because it makes sense. And they can really play off the fact that Bianca feels some type of way because, hey, wait a minute. I've been here. I have more accolades. I've been doing all this other stuff, and people come at me with bullshit, kind of play up to the realism of what's been going on social media. Y'all been coming at me. I've been carrying this company on my fucking back, and then everywhere I go, I hear motherfuckers chanting mommy when I know I'm better than her. So you know what? Let's go that route. I'm gonna show you why I'm better than her, and maybe have her do heel-like things to get that heat going. And I think that would be a better route than to just have, saying it be like a face Bianca, because I don't think that's gonna work. So anything you add, Mo?
Yeah, y'all kind of stole all my points, but it's all good. I'll make it work. I think this match, the Rhea Bianca match, I'm glad that they've saved it, because heel Bianca brings a different dynamic than we would have expected. Right, Rhea Ripley's already getting over. She's gonna be a babyface. She kind of already is. She's like on the fence, right? I think her and Bianca face, Rhea the face, Bianca the heel, brings. It gives you something more to do than like the obvious. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, y'all got.
All right, Nate,
Do
let's
y'all
bring
wanna
up the
pass-
big guns,
Y'all,
Nate.
All right.
hold on,
Big-
y'all got a minute. Do y'all want to add to it?
I just feel. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, to expound on that, you can still now you have that dynamic. You have people invested more in booing Bianca. Then you can set up a Jade and Bianca feud because that's obviously what they're heading down the line. But two baby faces in the situation, it's not going to really be as integral and as interesting as it would be if you have that heel and face dynamic, especially someone that's taking down Rhea Ripley. Obviously, she will probably cheat or do something to that extent, but anybody beating Rhea obviously gonna get a lot more heel heat off top.
And I think heel Bianca makes the most sense too because Bianca's had a big downfall ever since she lost the title to Asuka. She hasn't been able to propel back. She was used to dominating. She was used to dominating and winning for a whole year as the champion, as a top face. And then when she lost, she hasn't really been able to get back up to that top. So maybe she needs to feel like, I need to do something different.
And for those of us, go ahead. Sorry.
No, y'all good.
All right.
Lewis, Nate.
Shout out to
All right,
Jade.
man.
Jade had.
Yeah, shout out Jade. Shout out Jade.
Yeah. So you want to talk about someone dominant? You want to talk
Nate.
about someone who is believable?
Okay.
I believe the person to dethrone Rhea Ripley is Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler, obviously. The history they have, the history they have in NXT is my main reason for this because Rhea is the one to dethrone Shayna, who was at the time the most dominant NXT champion we've seen since Asuka. And I think ever since then, Shayna has fallen down the card. Slowly but surely has fallen down the card. And Shayna can say, that is the reason. You are the reason. You, Rhea, you're the reason. Because while you ascended, I descended. I think that would be a fantastic story for Shayna to tell. And Shayna is believable because she beat Ronda Rousey. The match fucking sucked, but she beat Ronda Rousey. You have the Elimination Chamber. You have her history in the Royal Rumble. Shayna Baszler fighting Rhea Ripley. That is a believable fight. That is a believable person I can see choking out Rhea Ripley. Not just pinning her. She can choke Rhea Ripley the fuck out in the middle of the ring and hold that Women's World Championship. I think Shayna Baszler is the perfect choice to dethrone Rhea Ripley.
And as to what Nate was saying, you guys mentioned, Bianca. I mean, that would obviously bring Bianca up a lot more. To me, if Shayna Baszler goes out there and beats Rhea Ripley, that'll be one of the most shocking wins of all time. And on top of that, you created another major star within your women's division that really needs some serious depth. And on top of that, if you make Shayna Baszler defeat Rhea Ripley, you can have Shayna Baszler go on a tear the same way that she did on her NXT run. And on top of that, if you watch Shayna Baszler's NXT run, she is a star maker, completely elevated Kairi Sane, completely helped elevate Rhea Ripley to where she is now. Shayna Baszler throughout her entire run is a star maker. Hell, we can even bring up Bianca Belair if you want to. Bianca Belair doesn't get the spotlight in NXT the way that she did if it wasn't for Shayna Baszler and her dominance. So Shayna Baszler beating Rhea Ripley, it solidifies her as a major player within the women's division. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. And I don't want to hear anybody talk about age because LA Knight, Damian Priest. I don't want to hear anybody talk about age when we talking about putting people as rising stars. I don't want to hear about that. Yeah, and you can rebuild Shayna. It's so easy to rebuild Shayna. Oh my God, Triple H, bro. Triple H, look at me, bro. You're gonna have you are not clear of these accusations, bro. You cannot book Shayna Baszler for shit on the main roster. It is so easy. You just have her go to the ring and choke. Just choke them out. Choke people out. That's all you have to do. It is so simple. I do not know the issue. Literally, after SummerSlam, she beat Ronda. That match should have been 2 minutes tops. That match was terrible. That match should have been gone that long.
Hey,
but after that, yeah, I was there. That match sucked. The lady behind me legitimately was asleep. That match sucked.
Yeah,
but Shayna Baszler should have gone on a tear. It's so easy. It's so easy to book Shayna Baszler as a dominant force. She just chokes people out. It's literally it. I don't understand how hard that is. It's simple. She goes in the ring. She chokes people out. That's it. It's easy. It's so easy to build Shayna Baszler back up. Oh my God.
And not to mention, Shayna Baszler, in my opinion, is one of WWE's best women's storytellers that they haven't even utilized. For, I believe, for 4 to 5 months straight, Shayna Baszler did a storyline with Ember Moon and carried it out for the rest of her title run with just a broken shoulder. She told a story about breaking people's arms, and it started with Dakota Kai. It started with Ember Moon, and then it went to Shayna Baszler having the setback on herself when Ember Moon fucking broke her shoulder. Did the same thing to Ember Moon again. She 4 to 5 months told a story about just breaking people's shoulders. And then on top of that, one of the main storytellings I want to talk about was her feud with Bianca. Bianca was talking about she was the EST. Shayna Baszler walked in there and said, "I'm the best." What happened when we went into the NXT TakeOver New York thing? She was put in there with three of the best women in NXT, and they had Shayna's story of her solidifying herself next to Asuka, saying, "I'm the best, I'm the most dominant person here, and there's nothing you could do about it." Shayna Baszler was so believable that she told these women that she was going to walk into New York and beat them. There's not many people in NXT history that can say that they're believable to say, "I'm going to beat you," and actually fucking do it the way Shayna Baszler was doing it. Shayna Baszler was all about being dominant and all about just fucking killing motherfuckers. She walked into TakeOver New York against the 3 biggest stars and walked out as champion. There's not many people that can say that they stayed on top and have the longevity and have the peak longevity that Shayna Baszler has had. She can carry that. I'm a little drunk. I'm sorry.
Y'all got 10 seconds left, so if y'all want to just start the rebuttal, y'all can.
Okay.
Bring back her theme.
So, go ahead, Mo. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
So the thing is with y'all's argument for Shayna is that we're building Shayna. Your argument is predicated on a character for Shayna that hasn't been credible for 4 years minimum. Shayna Baszler's entire dominance was in NXT. Yeah, she had flashes of it in the beginning of her WWE main roster run, but we haven't seen that dominance since she left NXT to that level, right? And it's just been down, worse and worse and worse. Bad moment after bad moment. Like y'all said, the MMA rules match, that was terrible. Mm-hmm. And it, for a lot of people, beating Ronda Rousey, no matter how you feel about her, would help somebody. It did nothing for her.
No.
Absolutely nothing. And they've continued to do nothing with her since.
So my rebuttal to that is, I understand our main point is talking about Shayna Baszler and NXT, but that's so many people that we've said on the main roster, that we said on the same roster. Listen, Triple H did a great job at rebuilding a guy like Shinsuke Nakamura where we thought he was done. So the way how we're looking at it is, if you give Shayna Baszler the time and you actually invest into her, she can probably break through that glass ceiling that she had in NXT. Like you said, we saw flashes of that on the main roster. And let's not forget, now with Triple H at the helm, NXT is canon. NXT is canon to the main roster. The accolades count, the rivalries, the feuds, everything counts. So there's still something with Shayna Baszler. It's all about, are you willing to invest the time in Shayna Baszler? You guys brought up a phenomenal point with Bianca, and I will not dispute Bianca. But when I'm looking at with Shayna Baszler, and making her a major star, you're adding more depth to the women's division that you desperately need. You add fresh blood to a woman that's never held the women's world championship at all in her career, and you're adding fresh new storylines and new spotlight on somebody that's never had the opportunity. Bianca, it'll be great with the heel dynamic, but Bianca on top, we've already been there, done that, and I'm sure a lot of people would love to see fresh blood like Shayna Baszler finally get her shine.
So Shayna Baszler is a great. I mean, I've been waiting for her push on the main roster for so long, bro. Like desperately, but they would have to do a lot to rebuild her up because when she choked out Ronda at SummerSlam, I thought that was going to be the catapult for her to at least be involved in something, and then they threw her back in the tag division. So Shayna Baszler could be the one. They would have to build her up, and it would add new, fresh depth to the roster. But turning Bianca heel could instantly put her as the top heel in the entire division on the roster, like immediately. Like, look at the roster right now. Who's the top heel? Is it Nia Jax? Rhea Ripley ain't because she getting cheered. Charlotte's hurt. You could maybe say Damage Control, maybe, but are they really the top heels? Like, I don't know if they really have a solidified top heel in that division, and I feel like Bianca could be that top heel to go on that rampage that a lot of people have been waiting her for because I think a lot of people really are just waiting for that for her. Like, a lot of people are already disliking her the way it is, but if they had her turn heel, the amount of heel heat she could have for the type of character that she portrayed in NXT, bringing it to the main roster, taking down a beloved Rhea Ripley by majority of the fans, and then running with that, whether she's in a group with maybe Montez Ford or however they want to do it. But if you instantly push that agenda with Bianca, I think that instantly puts her in that puts her to me top 5 heels in the company. Not even just for the women's division, but we're talking all of WWE. So Shayna Baszler would not be a terrible
I agree,
option,
Chaotic.
but I think they would have to do a lot to build her up to make her credible because they did so much, not Triple H exactly, but WWE at the time did so much to push her down the toilet so tremendously. Like Shayna Baszler has never even touched a world title on the main roster because she fell down tremendously. I think even for like 2 years, she had the most losses of anybody on the roster
Right.
after going on a dominant rampage. So she fell down so tremendously. They would have to do. I'm not saying that they couldn't do it, but it would take a lot for them to build her up.
I feel like with
I
Shayna,
think
Go
you're
ahead, Nate. Go ahead, Nate.
I feel like you guys are putting Shayna in this box as your average woman's superstar. Shayna Baszler is a killer. She's legitimately trained. Like if Shayna went on a run and killed every woman that she stepped in the ring with, it's believable because they know her because we know her background and they could talk about her background every week and show video packages, show videos of her training. Like Shayna Baszler is the one. She's a rare breed of superstar who you can build within a number of months because all you have to do, like I said, just go out there, have her choke people out. It's really very simple. You can make her look like a dominant president. It doesn't take much for us to believe, oh shit, Shayna Baszler could actually beat Rhea Ripley. And Triple H, you guys said Triple H is a storyteller. He likes to connect things from the past, from like if people have a history in other promotions, he's like, oh, let's rewind it back. That's NXT story right there. You can have Shayna go on this bloodlust. She's finally had enough, and she wants to beat Rhea Ripley because Rhea Ripley is the reason why Shayna Baszler, at least in her head, is the reason Shayna Baszler fell down so hard. Is she hasn't recovered from that loss. And if you have Shayna go on a rampage for months, you can easily rebuild Shayna Baszler. She's a very believable threat. We're not talking about a Kairi Sane. Love Kairi Sane, but if they treated Kairi the way they treated Shayna Baszler, that's going to take like a year at minimum to rebuild Kairi Sane. But someone like Shayna Baszler, she just come in, kick some people in the face, choke them out. Very believable right there off rip.
I also feel like with Shayna Baszler, we're not disputing Bianca. If she turned heel and beat Rhea Ripley, that's obviously going to be great for Bianca. I feel like in this scenario with Shayna Baszler, this is very much high risk, high reward. That's the whole thing with Shayna Baszler. So if we look at her time in NXT, she does something that not a lot of women do on the main roster, and like I mentioned, was elevate people, always making them look strong. She did that with Bianca, made Bianca the beloved babyface at the time. She helped elevate Io Shirai when she came on to NXT immediately. She was out there helping Dakota Kai's babyface run. She was like Shayna Baszler is that rare breed of a champion that makes everybody look incredibly strong in defeat and also elevates people every single time they're in the ring because Shayna Baszler just has that aura about her. So not saying Bianca can't do that, but I feel like if you make Shayna Baszler champion, you have a better chance at making other stars and having everybody else look equal than Bianca as heel.
Let Ross take the last.
One
All right.
last
Go ahead, dog.
All right. Well, to expound on your point, the thing is, yeah, us fans, we know she can go in the ring and she's a dominant force. But once again, it doesn't matter to the casual fans, especially if they have you out here acting like a fucking vampire in a fucking feud. It doesn't matter because now they're treating you like a JAG, just another girl out here that comes from an MMA background that's not Ronda Rousey, Ronda Light. That's it. So when you've been presented as someone as a carbon copy of somebody else, but just not that good, fans don't care. So when we talked about it with Dolph, fans lose interest in someone that they obviously had a lot of interest in at one point because of the booking and the consistency of how they've booked Shayna. They have booked her like a loser. They try to bring her back up, only to book her like a loser in the end. And it hurts to make it believable in her right now taking down Rhea Ripley. It's just not going to work. But hey, I'm all for her to get that opportunity. Triple H, you got to do something better with her, man.
True. Okay. So
This is the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
This is it. No moment or two.
Yeah, so first off, saying Bianca as a heel, I loved because that kind of changes how we view that title match and that title win. It's Bianca as a who's I believe Malik, I believe you're the one who said it. It puts Bianca as that next top heel, which they technically don't have. If they want to be technical, it's Io. And like, you know what I mean? I guess you could say it was Bailey before this. So yeah, they would need that. They would need that top heel. I love that point.
Was that Jade?
Well,
You said tell Mo to take that ugly ass shirt off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Said that- I think
crazy.
that's Jade.
learn
That's
the
Jade
learn-
Oh,
Burner.
okay. Jade's burning.
No,
But
no, no,
also too, y'all bringing up Shayna. I think y'all's explanation for Shayna is kind of makes sense because if you book her as how Nate was explaining, you just choke people out, do that for a couple months, and then she's finally ready. I think the storytelling aspect of it, and especially that Triple H loves tying stuff together. I mean, even though y'all referenced that Bianca promo, her turning heel, that was technically tying a storyline together, saying, Naomi, you haven't been here. This is something that I had to deal with, so I don't really feel bad for her. This is something she has to lay in, just like when Jey Uso went over to Monday Night Raw. And it was like, no, you still got to deal with your consequences and so on. So that's Drew's whole motivation. So I'm going to give it to Shayna only because I feel like you add if you build Shayna up correctly with the storytelling, I think you add another top star as opposed to just make another one bigger. I think you add another top star in, and I think Lewis, you might have said that, in a women's division that really needs the depth. Like if we're being, and that's kind of what kind of sold it for me because I do agree. I did agree with Ross. I was like, "Ooh, Shayna, that's gonna take a lot of work." But if you book her correctly, you add a star in a division that needs depth. So that way, that's crazy. That way, it went basically after.
Hey, bro, get that red T-shirt out, bro.
Let's see what y'all. What somebody say?
Wrestling Trey Rags has a point. I love this. You got. I'm not gonna lie. Jill Cheese. That was amazing. That was amazing. But yeah, I feel like Shayna Baszler, she would add. Again, you add to the depth. It's another star, and that way, after she has a run, she can do stuff without the title and still feel meaningful. So that's why I gave it to Shayna. But I'm not gonna lie. Heel Bianca.
That threw me
Instead
off
of beef.
guard.
Nah, bro. Yeah, that was tough.
Because instead of BFAB, I wanted BFAB to be Bianca. That's what I wanted. I was like, yeah, go with
It
your
would've made
husband.
sense.
Y'all can be a power couple.
Exactly.
But yeah, heel Bianca. I'm not gonna lie, that would be crazy.
It was hurting. Y'all was tearing Shayna down. You tearing my girl down like that. Like y'all ain't.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That's
Bro,
crazy.
we had
Well, I
Man,
knew
we ain't
the moment
trying
we
to win the
said
debate, bro.
Shayna, G would have been like,
we trying to win the debate, man.
Hey, we ain't the one that tore it down, but WWE tore it down. Shoot.
Wrestling
that's
straight
tough.
rights.
abuse
Fucking
bros
Ross,
win.
she was Ross. She
Nah,
was
that's
right
funny
though.
as hell, bro.
When she came, we should have known. When she came up and she bit Becky in the neck with all that fake blood, I was like,
Yeah, it should have been. It was GG, bro. It
Oh
was
my
at that
See,
point.
that's
that
what
was so bad.
see, that's what I thought. But then the way she handled the Elimination Chamber, I was like, oh, so y'all do rock with her. Y'all do believe in that COVID.
Honestly, I didn't even think her biting her was bad. If she just won at WrestleMania, it would have been fine. That's all she needed to do.
Yeah, we
was
would
just
have
win.
forgotten that bite.
Well,
If she had just
well,
won at WrestleMania, it would have been. It would everything.
Even
would
then,
have been
so they had
I mean,
something
Vince
when
said-
she
Vince
beat
said because of
Ronda,
COVID.
bro, and they did nothing after that. She had
They
something.
put her
you
with
know
in a
what?
tag team with Zoe Stark, bro.
because you know what's crazy. You know what's crazy. I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe. Because we know Triple H is stubborn. We saw how stubborn he was with Austin Theory. Even before the Cena feud, we saw how stubborn he was. I think he is adamant about making them women's tag titles seem important. I think he is so adamant about
He's
it.
doing a
And
terrible
You
job.
just
at
want
it.
him to get rid of it in general at this point.
He really should at this point.
Low
He's done
key,
nothing to
low-
elevate
He should
anything.
do some mid card title. That would be the best thing.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what they
not-
need.
I'm honestly, here's my thing. And I know it's not going to get back to that, but even 2.0 in this white and gold, that women's division does not have a tag title or a mid title.
Crazy.
There's still always good storylines that you could tell. And like, let's be real. Blair Davenport and Fallon Henley are in a little mini feud. That's just something for two women to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always something for someone to do. And I feel like the main roster, even though it's two brands, you have enough women to just have them do something. And I think SmackDown were kind of getting there because again they fumbled EO horrendously, so we're kind of getting there with SmackDown. And Raw, like honestly, everybody's kind of in the same vortex right now. But you can do something with these people without the tag titles or without the mid card. Like you can do it. So
Before we head up,
Super chats?
yeah, I don't even know where they are, bro. They long gone, bro. So
Oh, it's
I don't
not
know.
like StreamYard where we have a.
Nah.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
y'all kind of fucked. I ain't gonna lie.
No. So to end it off, we could take a few questions if you guys are cool with it. I feel bad because it's super chat, so we'll take a couple. Shout out to Ross for coming through. Also live on his channel. We had 1,000
Yeah,
people in here at
shout
one
out to
point, man.
Ross.
So we had 1K people in here at one point, man. So
Sure.
appreciate Ross for coming in, allowing his channel to be a part of our channel. So if you guys want to have, drop a few questions. We can answer a few questions for you guys real quick before we head off here.
do y'all really think Raw is barely watchable? Because he's not Matthew.
No, Raw's better than
Matthew's
SmackDown.
behind. Yeah, I was about to say like
Raw's,
Raw's pretty good.
I ain't watching
SmackDown without the
episode of
bloodline is
SmackDown.
unwatchable.
I ain't watched an episode of SmackDown for like 4 months.
I enjoy both. So I mean, I enjoy all of WWE, NXT, everything. I'm enjoying everything right now.
That shit's great,
the only
man.
problem with SmackDown, especially if they're gonna have the Bloodline doing 40 minutes, bro, they're pulling an AEW right now with their women's division. That's the only thing.
This is the
They
first
really
question
are.
I've seen.
Yeah.
Who got the most banger theme song right now?
Edge.
Voices.
Right now?
Are we going one
Right
by
now.
one? We going one by one?
Mr. Copeland.
If we okay, we said the most banger theme song. If we talking all time, Randy Orton. If we talking right now, Randy Orton. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I
going
mean,
Edge or Metalingus.
If we're going
Metalingus
right,
by far.
if we're going right now, I say Broken Dreams, and you know, I was all time Broken Dreams. You know,
Hey man, all I know is Let's Light It Up was pretty crazy.
get the fuck out of here, bro. We said
All
some
right,
bangers.
bro.
We mentioned mid.
let's slide it up.
Let's relax.
Mid as
Yes,
fuck.
Let's
sir.
relax.
Fire
Mid-ass
theme, bro.
theme.
Fire theme.
Trick. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, Trick Williams. That's got to be the best one in WWE right now.
I have a
No,
confession.
yeah.
Raw's
It's
Terry.
more
Raw's
the
Terry.
chance though, bro. It's more the chance.
I have a confession. Every time I'm in the car and I'm driving, I just tend to turn on Trick Williams music on YouTube with the ad libs, and I be getting turned for no
Yeah.
reason.
Okay, I thought I was the only one.
What?
Okay, I thought I was the only one. All right.
Bro, headphones
wanna admit
blasted
that
and everything. I be in the window like,
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
To go to a couple more, we're here. I got a couple more that we'll throw out there. Oops, just went away.
who's the most?
Who's the most underrated wrestler that should have been a main eventer? Good question. Most underrated wrestler that should have been a main eventer.
From
Somebody who never touched the main event scene.
I'll be a little bit different because I don't. Everybody's
I got
probably
mine.
have similar answers. For me, my answer is Dean Malenko. If he just could talk a little bit,
Mm.
if he could just talk
Wait
a
a
little
minute.
bit, he'd be over.
You cool with
I'ma
Dean
go-
Malenko, but you slander Brett?
Brett is fucking trash, bro. Fucking big as fuck for no
Whoa.
reason, bro. Fuck Brett.
Oh my god.
Brett
Malenko
is not
better than
trash, but he's definitely an in-ring merchant, bro. Like, hey,
Dean
Malenko
just like
better
that
than
little
Brett.
trend.
I'll give you that.
Hey, just like that little trend going around. We done with the '90s, bro. Yeah, pack Bret Hart.
Oh,
Done with the
my-
attitude era, bro.
You know,
Relax.
Oh
look,
no!
if we're doing we done with the
Don't get the old
'90s.
heads mad,
Does that
bro.
mean we can pack my via up too?
Nope,
We
nope,
back
'cause he's
right
here.
now.
Nope, he came in
He's
the
here.
2000s.
I'm not packing.
He's here right now,
man.
man.
Gotta pack
I'm
him
not gonna lie,
up.
And
he can-
2020.
That's
he-
crazy.
I'm gonna say Shelton Benjamin for me, bro. I feel like Shelton Benjamin
Gold standard.
in the
Yeah,
Ruthless
that's
Aggression era had crazy athleticism, could go in the ring with anybody. His mic skills weren't that great, but around that time, I mean, I feel like you could get away with it, still be the world champion. They put the world title on, somebody we don't name.
Y'all
You know what
heard
I'm
me.
saying?
Fuck Brett.
So I feel like Shelton could have been maybe not WWE champion, but he could have been
His
a great world
stubborn
heavyweight
ass.
champion. He could have been a great world heavyweight champion.
Brett is nothing more than an angry old man that's just mad that we can do flips and he can't.
Damn.
What?
bro.
Right now, I'm gonna go. He
Fuck I
still
said.
has time. He still has time. But I'm gonna go Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods has
That's
a lot
a
of
great
potential.
one.
They
That's
haven't
a great one.
capitalized on yet.
He getting packed up.
The
bro.
fact
Should
that
be-
he's the
should
only
be-
one that hasn't won a title out that group is crazy to me.
Yeah, bro. He should
Yeah,
be
that's
a
wild.
U.S. or
What you mean,
Intercontinental
bro?
champion.
He got King of the Ring,
The
bro.
world
King of
heavyweight
the Ring.
titles right there.
And
No,
they
but I'm
crushed
talking-
his crown.
No, but literally, like, he hasn't won a US or an IC. Like, it's about time, bro.
No, yeah, he got.
If
no, he
Chad
lost it.
Gable didn't exist, I really wanted it to be Woods to be Gunther, bro.
That'd been so good, bro. I was there for that match they had at SmackDown.
Ross, you got an answer real quick?
I was the biggest Xavier Woods fan in the crowd.
Probably go with Cesaro. If he was just better talking on the microphone, I think he'd be fine. But it's just his microphone skills are not that good, but his in-ring skills is just
Crazy.
Wait,
it's
what'd you say?
fucking phenomenal. Cesaro.
And he could connect with the crowd because Vince was like, he doesn't connect with the fans. I was like, they
Nah,
made a
he
whole
was-
And he
section.
did it all the time.
He was
Like,
over.
he did it,
Yeah.
bro. Like, he
If
could
he
connect.
just
Like, the
had-
fans loved him, bro.
If he just had just a little bit better on the microphone, I think he would have been
Yeah.
fine, bro.
This one right here. What's the hill you're willing to die on regarding pro wrestling? Oh, God.
Oh,
wait,
ahead,
do you-
bro.
Oh, go ahead.
That,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that
Go
last
ahead.
one, go ahead, bro. Go ahead, bro.
Clip Ross, you want another clip, Ross?
Man,
Yeah,
bro,
outside.
right now on Twitter, I have all these fucking little virgin crybaby losers just getting mad, and I love it. So keep sending it. I'm actually gonna make a video about this because I'm gonna double up on what I said. But I will say this: if there's a hill I'm gonna die on, I'm dying on that hill today. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up because I'm making a video about it. So I'm gonna switch it up.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If there's another hill I'll die on per se, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm really trying to think. All right, some people are gonna get mad at me. I don't really be caring too much for the Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay style of matches. I'm gonna just be honest. I know some of
That's
y'all are gonna be like,
That's
"Oh
true.
my
Wow.
god,
Oh,
they're,
shit.
they're putting on some of the greatest classics," and it's cool. It's cool, but me personally, I think they're okay matches, but it's a lot of the stuff. It's a lot of things when you really break it down in the sense of wrestling. Like it doesn't make sense that this nigga then did 20 different flips and then he no-sold a move only to get back to no-sell another move to kick out at one. Now I get it. There's a fan base for that. And some of the stuff do be kind of pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie to you, but for me, when I'm sitting down watching a wrestling match, I'm not gonna remember it because it's mostly just a whole bunch of cool moves, but the story ain't there for me. So that's the hill I die on. I think they're fantastic wrestlers in their own right, but at the same time, for me, it's not something that I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna give this a 5-star classic because it's just personally not something.
Yeah, the only
to-
things I'll say about kickouts at one, I feel like that should only be saved for like ultimate underdogs, like the baby faces who just walk, like a Daniel
Or like a
Bryan
monster.
during the
Or a
Yes
monster.
movement. Yeah, that too,
Yeah.
too. But like Daniel Bryan during the Yes movement era, if he kicks out at one, I'm not biding my time. I'm probably getting hyped. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not the
And to piggyback off that, I enjoy those matches, but I'm not a fiend for those matches.
There
To
we go.
me, like everyone talks about, like they go back and watch matches over. I honestly, bro, matches are cool with me. Like, I enjoy watching wrestling. Like, I like to see two dudes beat the shit out of each other and like do all these flips and stuff. That's cool. I'm a promo and segment guy. Like, that's the stuff I eat up. I love that stuff. Like, a match is cool. You can have a 5-star match, but if you have I'd rather see a 5-star promo than a 5-star match, to be honest. I don't mind the Ospreay and Omega, like Ospreay Takeshita. That match was incredible, and I love that match. I ate that shit up.
That was
but when you have a card full of that style of wrestling, it does get a little tiresome, and I'm like, all right, we get the point. These guys can wrestle, and I know there's a fan base for that. I understand that AEW they have a good fan base with that, and they made a lot of money off that. And I'm not trying to like say like, oh, you guys are fucking nerds for liking that. But I'm just saying my personal style, the reason I gravitate towards WWE more is because they do more segments, they do more promos, there's more character work in there, and the wrestling's there too, but they focus more on that stuff, and that's why I tend to always just gravitate more towards WWE. I like AEW. I like the direction they're going in. Don't get me wrong. I think Ospreay and Danielson is going to be a fucking phenomenal match. Like, it's going to be great. They're going to have a lot of great matches this year. It's just not my.
So what? Everybody else run through their hill. Mo, what's yours?
For me, the Ruthless Aggression era pay-per-views clear the ones of the Attitude Era. First of all, let's start with the WrestleManias. Every WrestleMania of the Attitude Era almost ethers every single Attitude Era WrestleMania.
Ruthless Aggression, yeah.
Yeah, every Ruthless Aggression WrestleMania is better than most Attitude Era WrestleManias. The only one that's on par is 17. I think 17 clears all of them. But the regular pay-per-views, like King of the Ring 98, for example, right? The crowd is a big factor of this. Crowd was awake for Taker and Mankind, obviously, and Austin and Kane. They were dead during Too Much against Al Snow and Head because of dumb storylines like that. They took Head and Shoulders and had Ruthless Aggression era pay-per-views clear. That's all I'm gonna say.
Lewis, what's yours? Go ahead.
I've thought about this one long and hard. It ain't in my VO1. Don't worry, chat. I've thought about this one long and hard.
I'm shocked.
And I've come to the conclusion that the WWE in-ring performer Mount Rushmore, and this is just WWE. I think the three, I mean, you can obviously go about it how you want to go about it. For me, obviously, the first three would be Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, and Seth Rollins. Those are the three I have. To me, the man that takes the fourth spot in WWE's in-ring Mount Rushmore list is Gunther.
Oh,
and another hot take to add on top of that.
Oh, I don't know about all that game.
By the time his career is
That's
over,
a lot.
By the time his career is over, I think Gunther would be one of the 10 greatest WWE superstars of all time.
I get it.
I mean, that one is cool, but
not a bad hill to die on.
Yeah, the in-ring, yeah, facts. But the in-ring performer one, I don't know. But
G, throw yours out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'll just have my three.
The only reason I didn't say Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle's best work was easily in TNA. Way better in TNA.
Yeah, in-ring work.
In-ring
on them perks, bro.
That's why I didn't say Kurt Angle because Kurt Angle didn't have his best matches.
Hey,
I hear you,
HBK
but
per Angle, different days, bro.
I still think he should be in that thing. But either way, so my three hills that I will always die on. First off, Samoa Joe should have won a Great Balls of Fire. I don't care. You could have still had the Fatal 4-Way. Samoa Joe should have won that Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
Two.
You said Edge. Get the fuck out of here.
Wait, what? Wait, what happened?
Somebody said Edge.
No,
What was my second one? I forgot my second one. But so the other one, the last one, NXT Takeover New Orleans is the greatest pay-per-view WWE's ever had.
Oh yeah. I don't know about
I'm not gonna lie. I will watch that over X7. I'm sorry. I will watch that over X7. I don't care.
Wait. You're watching New Orleans over X7?
Yes.
Dap me up, nigga. Dap me up.
Yeah. I'm watching New Orleans over.
I don't know, bro.
Over.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm on the same boat with y'all, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't know, bro. That's not
Take
an
a-
L. That's not an L.
Takeover New Orleans was.
That's not
top
a
tier.
that's
Bro.
not an L take though. That's not an L take.
Bro,
It's not a
take
horrible
over New
take. I'm
Orleans.
not mad at that.
Oh, yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
take over New Orleans.
Only,
No, I'm
only,
with
only
you. It's the
reason,
one that
only
made me
reason I
fall in
say
love with
that is
NXT.
because you could point
Yeah.
out maybe a few things.
I know y'all
about
not
X7.
saying Randy Orton for
Hold on, hold
in-ring
on.
performing. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey,
I
when
know
he's- when he's
Randy Orton's a
awake-
great performer. He's a great performer. He's
When
he's
he's
a
He
great
is.
performer.
Yeah.
Only reason I'll say NXT over X7 as far as I watch is because there were no bad flaws for Takeover New Orleans. Every match, every story.
Was
You could point out maybe a couple of things from 17 that you could skip over. You know what I'm saying? I'm not skipping over anything for Takeover New Orleans.
NXT
bro, so-
Takeover New
That is
Orleans
true.
is the greatest pay-per-view they've ever had.
So,
And
Nate,
mixed with the
Over
fact that
Takeover New York,
WrestleMania,
It's either
Yes,
that
over
or
New
Takeover
York.
New
Yes,
York.
yes.
Over New York, over New York.
Yes, yeah.
They're
That's
both
my favorite
S tier,
I
takeover.
respect that.
They're both S tier though. They're both.
go.
That's
I'm
my
gonna let
favorite
Nate,
takeover.
Nate, you throw out yours, and I'm gonna throw out mine.
Nia Jax saved the Raw Women's division. I'm dying on that hill. She saved the damn division. There, you look at October till now. What was Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley going to do from there? Literally, Nia Jax was the glue she was the factor that kept them apart. That's all I gotta say.
That's an interesting take.
I'm gonna throw out three of mine, and I don't care what nobody says, bro. Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior, top 5 WrestleMania main event ever, bro. Braun Strowman is the biggest fumble WWE had in any superstar in the last decade, bro. I don't care what nobody says, bro. The fact that they messed up that man's career and they couldn't revive it is atrocious. And last one, even though it kind of pains me a little bit to say it, Roman Reigns is the better world champion than John Cena ever was, bro.
Single reign, I'll give you, but overall, no.
Yes, overall, yes. Better
Hey,
world
you
champion.
know what's
Reigns
crazy?
was.
You know what's crazy, Mo?
This
John
reign-
Cena is a 16-time world champion. That means he lost that thing 16 times. Bro.
This
Man, that's scripted.
this tribal chief reign is better than any world championship run John Cena had in his entire
I agree.
career.
That is
Damn.
definitely,
We have to include
that
the
is
first
definitely
three.
facts. That is
We have to
definitely
include the
facts.
first three, though. We have to talk about the first three.
The
Come
first
on,
three are great. Roman Reigns' title reign is better than those.
now. Huh? From
better than
December
those
to
three.
Talking about
Royal
Roman.
Rumble? No.
Yes,
Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
Oh,
is
you're
tribal
talking
chief.
about
The tribal
you're talking
chief.
about
Yes.
Roman Reigns' first 3 title reigns, like as big dog.
No, I'm talking about the tribal. I
That's
said
what
the
I'm
tribal
saying.
chief. The tribal
No, I'm
chief.
talking about Mo. I'm talking
All right,
about.
no,
Mo.
he's talking about. I think he's saying this reign is better than all Cena.
I'm saying the
I get it.
tribal
this
chief
reign's
reign.
better than all of them.
Tribal
Yeah,
chief reign.
but
better-
overall,
Overall, no.
Yeah.
yeah.
but
that-
tribal chief, absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Some people would definitely disagree, but nah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Some people, a lot of people, if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people only going to disagree because of the nostalgia factor. Because John Cena came before Roman Reigns, and they love John Cena.
Word life.
John Cena is my all-time favorite wrestler, bro. He's the one. He's the only wrestler I ever wanted to be like as a kid. There's the only wrestler. But real can recognize real. This run that Roman's had, he's had better stories, just as good matches, character work top tier, and he's uplift people in the story as well. And I don't know if we've ever seen a story that we can remember, but every time the story got dry, you thought it was over, they managed to revive that shit and make it good again. I don't know how they've done it so many times.
So
That is true.
Can I trigger chat again? I have another one.
Good.
Chat, get your dicks out your hand for this one, bro. Because yeah, y'all
Oh,
gonna be
here we
mad as
go.
fuck.
That's crazy.
When it comes to the 4 horsewomen,
Oh,
Sasha Banks is last. Sorry to tell y'all that.
No, she. Oh, actually, yes, she is. You're right. You're
Sasha
right.
Banks
You're right.
last.
You're right.
I didn't
She's
say
last.
Mercedes. I
She
didn't
is
say
last.
Mercedes. I said Sasha Banks.
Sasha
Oh,
Banks is
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks
Okay,
last.
okay.
Yeah, Sasha
can't
Banks.
get
Not
mad.
Mercedes.
I can't
Mercedes. I didn't
Not
say
Mercedes
Mercedes.
Moné.
Listen.
Sasha Banks is
Sasha
last.
Banks,
You're
I
right.
can't get
Banks is
mad.
last.
You're absolutely right. You
Listen,
want to know?
you
You
know
why she's
no,
last? You want to know why she's last?
Good.
She's the only one. Let's keep it a buck, y'all. She the only one that, as a champion, was forgettable. She's the only one.
No
over
Rumble win.
Charlotte too, though.
She
Or
doesn't
no?
even have
What
a
is it?
Mania win.
No.
Name me
If
one
you want to
Charlotte
say
Flair
no,
reign. Name me one.
Charlotte had like the longest Divas to Women's Championship reign before.
She did.
Before
She
what's
did.
it called? Before anybody
She
else
did.
did.
She did.
She did.
And
That
how
was
did.
before Charlotte
It was
was
Ric
winning.
Flair kissing Becky
But
Lynch. That's
bro,
the most
no.
memorable thing about that.
When before Charlotte became the all I do is fight for titles merchant, Charlotte was a great champion, bro. She was just a heel. Before she started racking up the stat padding titles like that before the Sasha Banks stat pad title, bro, she was a good champion, bro. And she could actually do some stuff. It just got annoying because we saw she was stat padding. But no, Charlotte was the first one, and then Becky surpassed her because she became the biggest star in the freaking company at one point. And I'm gonna be real. Then you get to Bayley and Sasha. If you want to say Sasha's better in ring, cool, that's fine. But Bayley, if we look at everything with accomplishments, accolades, Bayley honestly is low key not close. Bailey is better than Sasha.
Not close.
No,
And on
It's not.
top-
It
and-
shouldn't be close.
And on top of that, comparing it to
Oh,
the other,
man.
comparing Sasha Banks to the other horsewomen, they have a Rumble win. Bailey is about to have her singles W. Sasha Banks' only win is for the fucking tag titles. That's it. Other than that,
Yeah.
she was 0-6 at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And remember, Sasha Banks couldn't defend that title to save her life. And then when she finally did have somewhat of a long reign, she was a transitional champion for Bianca Belair.
Cool.
So you bring up a lot of good points.
Transitional's kind of
You
dragging.
bring up a lot of good points with Sasha.
You see, I knew. Chat got angry.
Charlotte,
Got
I
angry.
think, would equal it though because Charlotte has never evolved her character into anything. At least we saw Sasha evolve, we saw Bailey evolve, Becky evolve. She's been the same thing for the entire time of her main roster run. And not to mention though, Charlotte is the one person that everybody has looked at in the division kind of like the Roman Reigns. They're forcing her upon us when
I
we're
am
telling you
drunk.
we don't want
I'm
her to
spitting
be in
facts.
that top position. Charlotte is great, but nothing about her has changed at all. We saw Sasha play the heel character in NXT. Then we saw her do it as a babyface. We've seen the same with Bailey. We've seen the same with Becky. Charlotte has done the same stuff the entire time she's been on the main
Hold on.
roster.
Hasn't Sasha done the same stuff too? When did
Hold on.
Sasha evolve?
Hold on. Can I keep
She's
it
been a
base?
heel and a babyface. That's evolving. She's
So
excelling.
was
at both.
Charlotte.
Well, yeah.
Charlotte hasn't excelled as a babyface. She's a terrible babyface. Nobody liked
All
her.
right, she is a horrible.
Okay,
babyface.
okay. She might not have been
Hold
good at it.
Hold on.
but
Are we
saying
counting
they've done the same
NXT in
thing.
this sense? Are we counting
She's
NXT
done
in
the
this
same
sense?
thing.
Hold on. Are we counting NXT in the sense because Charlotte as a babyface is one of the most dominant NXT Women's Champions of all time?
Okay, you could say on the babyface, but on the main roster, she's been terrible as a babyface on the main roster.
Oh yeah. Then
And
I,
Sasha
yeah, I-
Banks,
Horrible.
Sasha Banks on the
She couldn't
main
even
roster
show.
has been the worst champion and the worst. Like she can't win the big one. She's
I'll-
terrible
I'll-
under pressure.
I'll say that. Well, because I mean, she hasn't won the big one. Yeah, that's a fact. But I'll say this: Charlotte was such a bad babyface, she couldn't even get rid of Ronda Rousey, bro. That's how terrible. that
Yeah,
is.
no, she was
Yeah.
a bad.
Yeah.
Can I also
No,
say
she's a really
something?
bad
Can I also say
babyface.
something too? I also saw somebody say, but Sasha Banks main event of WrestleMania. To keep it a buck, and a lot of y'all don't want to hear this, she was only in the main event of WrestleMania because they really wanted to push Bianca. They would have put Bianca in the main
And-
event with anybody.
She was
And-
because does anybody remember Sasha Banks' reign after she beat Bailey in the Thunderdome era? Does
No.
Not
anybody
really.
remember that?
No.
I couldn't tell you a damn thing.
I don't know
Yeah,
who
yeah,
she defended that
she-
title
I
against.
think it goes hand in hand because Lewis they bring up a good point, but they also threw Charlotte into the WrestleMania main event that she didn't belong
Yeah.
into either.
You're right.
Yep.
But here's the thing: I think Charlotte and Sasha are 3 and 4. I think they're 3 and 4. But to me,
Wow.
to me, I don't think there's an argument for Sasha being higher than 4. I think she's the last one. She's literally the worst. Like even though it's scripted,
That's-
that's
She
fine.
fought
It's not her
Reginald.
fault.
That's
As
crazy.
far as accomplishments, she has the worst because she couldn't hold the title to save her life for the longest time.
Bro, she
And then
doesn't
when
have
she-
the two
Facts.
biggest wins that these women are gonna have.
Yeah. So I mean,
And
Bailey's
Ring,
the
I think
longest
she's-
reigning women's champion in SmackDown history. Charlotte Flair is a 14-time women's champion. Becky Lynch is the only woman to main event and win. The only woman to win a one-night WrestleMania main event. I mean, it's really
She doesn't have anything that's really history making per se. Well, let me put some respect. Her and Bianca
Yeah, I
are
was about to
the
say,
first two
first
black women to main
two
event
black
of
women,
WrestleMania.
yeah.
and she's part of the first women's tag team champion.
Which
She has that.
which is great. But what I'm saying though is when people say, but she main evented a WrestleMania, I feel like WWE was so high on Bianca, you could have put any of the other 3 other horsewomen in there, and you would have gotten the same result.
Could have done
They
Bailey.
were- that was more because that to me, because I look at things differently, right? I look at who's the hottest in the match or whatever. Like, yeah, technically, like, yeah, she did main event a WrestleMania, but I don't look at that as a Sasha WrestleMania main event. I look at that like that's Bianca. That was Bianca.
Like,
That was Bianca. She was the center of attention. Sasha just so happened to be
That
the
is true.
champion.
like in my personal opinion, I don't think anybody in their right mind thought Sasha Banks had the sliverest of chance of winning that main event.
Oh no.
No way.
Nah.
That was basically
Phenomenal
a
match,
set
though.
up. Yeah,
Phenomenal
phenomenal
match.
match. I would, even if you want to say Sasha is the best one in ring, that's perfectly fine. But my counterpoint, I mean, I don't think she is. But if you want to say that, I'm not gonna really waste my breath about it. But
Someone said she made a girl cry in NXT, bro. So did Miz made a girl cry. What are we talking about?
A lot of people
What are you
made
talking
people
about?
cry.
You saw what Gunther
Right.
did, man.
A lot of people
Oh,
have made people
that's
cry. That's
crazy.
why I said that's why I mentioned Sasha was better
Call him a
at selling
bad
as a
father.
baby face and a heel than Charlotte was. That was my point. That was the point I made. But a lot of people have made people cry. I
Much
mean, come
better.
on.
yeah, but I don't think Sasha being better at both than Charlotte. Because yeah, she's a better baby face for
soon.
sure.
Coming
But I don't
soon.
think it's enough to put her in the top 4 Mount Rushmore. Or I don't think she's any higher than 4.
Someone
The
said
only-
Liv losing made it
the-
go.
I don't think,
I'm sorry.
honestly, I don't even think she'll ever have a case of being.
Unless she
being-
comes back.
I
I
don't
was saying
think
if she comes back.
If she comes back, that's a whole different story. But as of speaking right now, she has zero case of being on the Mount Rushmore. Like Bianca has a case more. Rhea Ripley has more of a case. Becky has more of a case. Bailey has more of a case. Charlotte has more of a case. Shit, it is. What
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie because when we
As far
look at
as far as what? As far as what?
just
Mount
overall,
Rushmore
is it
women's-
just the Mount Rushmore?
Oh, the Mount Rushmore. Oh, that's all the 4 women to me. They're all the Mount Rushmore. All 4.
No, I don't think so. Because
Nah,
I think by the time Bianca's career is over, bro, she's
If you ask me,
she's kicking
Hill-
Sasha right off that mountain.
Hill
facts.
Moon and Dion.
It depends if Sasha comes back though, because she comes back.
If she comes back, that's a different story. If we're
Yeah,
talking
we're
right
talking
now,
about as of right
Well,
now.
when she comes back eventually.
a Hill
Like I said,
Moon
she
and
would.
Dion, Bianca already surpassed Sasha, in my opinion.
yes, she did.
She's
Whoa.
over. She's
I'm
over.
not gonna lie.
Honestly,
I'm not gonna lie.
as far
If we
as
keep it a
her position, number one, her position in the company, by far, absolutely, she surpassed Sasha by far.
Yeah, position,
They
yeah.
pushed her so much better than
This is
Sasha.
just for
Banks.
WWE guys.
They actually care. They actually care about Bianca. Number one,
No, yeah,
and her
facts.
accomplishments trump Sasha Banks. They do.
I'm not gonna lie. Y'all can keep going. You can say she surpassed Bailey, and if you really want to keep it a buck, other than that stat pad 16-time world champion,
What?
That's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. That's
it's
hard.
gonna
That's hard.
be.
That's hard.
It's gonna no.
It hasn't
you're right.
Give her 5 years.
Nate,
Give her 5 years.
What's
Just
your-
give her 5
Nate,
years.
What's your stance,
Nate,
dog?
Nate,
You've
Nate,
been
I'm not
quiet,
gonna lie.
Ross.
I'm
What's
not,
your stance?
Nate, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. She doesn't need 5 years. She just needs one heel run. All she needs is one heel run.
Hold on, Ross. You've been
What about
quiet,
the-
man. What's your stance on this, Ross? You been
All right.
quiet, man.
I'm over here just responding to the fire that is on Twitter right now, so that's why. It's
This
fucking
man,
great. I
this
love
man
it. I
in
love
menace
it.
mode. This man. Where's
No,
that? Where's
no,
that
but-
hoodie, dog? Where's that
You
hoodie?
should read, you
Oh,
should read
it's in
your favorite comment you responded to. Read out your favorite
Oh,
comment.
actually, I can, but let me get into
Go
this
ahead,
real
go ahead,
quick.
dog.
I actually do agree that Bianca has surpassed Sasha, considering how they've been booking her, and I think that's part of Sasha's frustration and one of the reasons, the big reason why she left in the first place. I think we're getting what Sasha probably should have got in Bianca.
Yes.
Is exactly what we're getting right now.
Yes.
And right now, Bianca's on this run where, you know what I'm saying, people are behind her. She's been putting on some pretty good matches. I think her getting a good heel run will definitely take her to that next tier, potentially,
Yeah.
because now you can have that dynamic in the sense of seeing for the main roster crowd, like the casual audience. Now they get to see someone that they've been cheering and loving for a while actually go rogue and do some heel like things and expound on that. So I think right now she's on a really great run, and I'm hoping that at some point they pull the trigger on her being a heel, because I do think outside of Charlotte, and thing about Charlotte, we can all agree she can have some great matches, bro. She be having
Yeah,
some
facts.
fucking great
Yeah,
matches.
for sure.
I may not like how many times they've given her pretty much the championship off her name, but she can wrestle her ass off. That's one thing that people can't say. And she be putting on some classics. That Rhea versus Charlotte match on paper, it sounded good. The execution, the story, no one gave a fuck. But when the match happened, if it wasn't for that tag team bloodline match, that would have main evented. And it should have main evented because it was that fucking good. So I will say right now, Bianca is definitely number 2, but when she get a good heel run, I think that may change relatively soon. Rhea, I mean, just in right now in the grand scheme of things, outside of the 4 horsewomen, she's at the top because she's just so super over, and her matches are really good too. Like her selling is good. She can sell for you. She can make you look like $1 million out there, even when you know it doesn't match up the matching, you know, the who she's facing. You can't believe into it.
Yeah.
She can make you believe because she's that fucking good. So I'll give her that.
Yeah.
I see
And one thing-
Bianca and Rhea as like John Cena and Batista. Like WWE is obviously, I think in the future they're going to lean more towards Bianca, but Rhea is always going to be like someone that they always go to as well.
I'm just confused. Like, I'm just confused because I don't really be responding to people like that. But I'm just confused on how Bianca has not surpassed Sasha Banks. She's peaked higher than her in terms of probably popularity within the WWE. She has her own reality TV show. She has the longest reigning women's title run, full stop, ever.
Mhm.
And in terms of stretch of matches, you can damn near argue which one is better. like
And she has something
everything
to
Sasha
win
needs, Bianca
at
has.
WrestleMania.
I think for me,
Facts.
the reason I have the 4 Horsewomen as the Mount Rushmore because they all changed women's wrestling in WWE and revolutionized it for me. The way they were put in NXT and portrayed, you started to see that things were changing differently in women's wrestling. And the match that solidified for me was Sasha and Bayley at TakeOver Brooklyn. After I watched that match, I was like, no, women's wrestling is completely changed. That was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. Now Bianca has, you could say, peaked higher and has all the success Sasha really did need to evolve and excel. But all four of them, to me, helped transcend and change women's wrestling to be where it is today. They all helped revolutionize it when they were calling it the women's revolution in that era. They all played their part into doing that by having great matches, telling great stories. Some of them had better booking than others in the end, but they all 4 portrayed themselves, and solidified themselves to be the 4 catalysts.
I think Sasha is more or less the accolades don't match, but her match quality does. Because you guys remember the match she had with Ronda, and Ronda was relatively green at the time. She carried her to a fucking good match,
Rumble,
bro.
right?
And Ronda fucked up her shoulder in that match too. That's what people didn't know.
She
That's
carried
true.
her to a pretty good match for someone that's relatively green in the ring, and she, even though on paper you're not gonna buy that Sasha could actually beat Ronda, but they made it looked believable and it worked, and that's the testament. And I will give credit to Sasha, even though the accolades don't show. She's had some really, really good matches, but if we're just going off of accolades, popularity, and where it is now in comparison, I hate to say it, and they're both great, but Bianca right now.
I'm taking everything into account, not just the popularity, not just the accolades, not just the match quality. Because I think, especially when we're talking about this current day 4 Horsewomen and all that stuff, they all got it. But when I look at everything into account, I think a lot of the big things, mainly because like I see people in the chat and just what you see on Twitter and all that stuff. I feel like people with Sasha, they think she's higher than what she is because we expected her to be higher than what she is. That's what we assumed was going to happen. Because remember, the only person that got left back,
AJ
the only person that got left back was Bayley. Bayley was the one that got left back. We thought Sasha was like, as you said, Ross. We thought Sasha was going to be what Bianca was. But if we just look all time, everything into account, when we look at all the, I don't know where that came from, but when we look at everything into account, you look at all the women in history, right? Women in history, you take everybody into account. I can argue Becky being in that top 5 for sure, no questions asked. I can argue Charlotte being in that top 5. Bayley's getting there. Let's see what this next run does because I think she's winning. Sasha, is anybody taking Sasha over Trish or Mickey?
I am.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all are?
In WWE? In WWE? Absolutely.
I think
100%.
Okay, Mickey, yeah. But Trish, Lita?
Yes.
Because I think
absolutely.
I hate to say it.
Because here's my thing. That's the tier
it.
I think she's in, though. Because I think Becky has surpassed them, no questions asked. I think Charlotte has surpassed them, no questions asked. I'm not gonna lie, I'm taking Bianca over them, no questions asked. That's the tier I think Sasha is in.
I
think she's with the Trish and Lita right
has
now.
a case to be over Sasha?
No, because she
honestly,
if she had a better main roster run, yes.
I think they did her worse
Austin
main
is
roster
in
than
the
they did Sasha.
Just asking.
Yeah.
I'm not getting.
I think for me,
Oscar and Sasha
I'm not
low-key in the
getting
same boat. They both don't have wins at Mania. Or
Someone
Sasha
said,
has
what about? Someone
That's
said,
what I'm saying.
but I think
They're
they
in
did
the
Oscar.
same
I think they did Oscar a little bit dirty. Like Sasha wasn't nearly as dominant as Oscar was, bro. Like she was undefeated for a minute, bro, and then she went from being literally undefeated to losing to Carmella, bro. That's how bad it was. Bro.
I'm not getting nasty, just asking it because they're in the similar same boat. Like they don't have a Mania win.
No, you're right.
They both have had shitty title runs. But if we're looking at just the accolades alone, Oscar,
to point out the chat, I'm seeing a bunch of people in the chat. I think a lot of people in the chat are missing the points. A lot of us like these people, but their accolades and stuff speak for itself the way they're booked. We're just going off based how they're booked. Like they didn't treat Sasha the way they should have did on the main roster. They didn't treat Asuka the way they should have did on the main roster. We're not saying that those people are bad. It's just we're looking on based on where they did. Sasha Banks would win the championship and then she would lose it after not even holding it for a month. And she didn't even get the title for a month. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't her fault. It's just the way that they were structuring her in book here. Now I still have her on my Mount Rushmore personally, but I can understand why some of these people don't put her on there because the lackluster of the book booking that they had to. I don't know who in the background going crazy.
Yeah, somebody all right?
Somebody in the background going crazy.
Shut the fuck up.
So I don't know. We're just looking off based off how.
Mo, whoever in the background, tell him.
It's my brother.
Hand him one of these and
Get
tell him
that-
to go have fun with a girl.
Hey,
Hand him one of these and tell him to go
yo!
have fun.
Hey,
Yo, I was gonna
You
say
know how
get
old
the
that
foo-foo
kid-
stick.
You know, old that kid.
To get the foo-foo stick, but
I was gonna tell him to drink Ron.
Plus, we have to.
hey, give him
one
that
thing-
condom and say
the-
off is the direction you can fuck.
The one thing I want to bring up that G, the one thing I want to bring up that G said, he's talking about Trish stuff, but I think the eras matter. Like people like Trish and stuff. People are bringing up AJ Lee. AJ Lee was great for her division, but she was in that era where women's wrestling really wasn't
Really
able
wasn't,
to
yeah.
evolve and
love you,
excel the way
Yeah.
it is now. If AJ Lee had a run in this era, I mean,
Durex
she
is
Oh,
wild.
it'd be
may be able to cook.
That is wild. I wasn't gonna say nothing.
You really just pulled out a Durex like out of nowhere for a child. This is a child, bro. What's wrong
Oh
Hey, whatever helps
wild,
strap,
bro.
bro. Whatever helps strap.
Hey, Trojan clear.
What the-
Just hope y'all know that. Trojan clear.
Facts.
what the fuck? All right, man. We're discussing, man.
Oh,
I just want to say though, do you guys think as wrestling fans, like, I feel like people they rank
Need to have
based
sex more?
on, you know, besides that, you know what I'm
We gotta
saying.
stop
Besides
this. We gotta
that,
stop this.
shout out this Thursday. But besides that, I feel like wrestling fans they tend to rank based on potential and what wrestlers could have been rather than what they are now. I understand the Sasha Banks argument because of her potential and what she could have been, but you can't tell me on the grand scheme of things right now on what she is today, on where she was at her WWE career, that she has a legitimate case over Bianca. You just can't. I
How many
understand the argument.
You can't.
How many times in 2016
I can't see it, bro.
did her and Charlotte flip flop that title back and forth?
I would say four.
Too much, bro.
Sasha
Yeah,
Sasha
way
won
too
on
much.
Raw. Charlotte would win at the pay per view. Then Sasha
Yeah,
would
it
win on
was-
Raw. Charlotte would win at the pay per view. Sasha
Till
would win
Roadblock.
that title back on Raw. Because remember, they were the
By
first
the help of Ric Flair.
women's Hell in a Cell match. They were the first women's last man standing or something. They were
In
the first
Sasha's
everything.
hometown, by the way.
Yeah, bro.
They did that in
never
Sasha's
won
hometown.
I feel like a lot
Sasha
of the
never won
women,
pay-per-views.
a lot of the women though, like a Trish, Lita, and AJ Lee, they were all great for their era, but they weren't able to excel and prevail because women's wrestling was held back.
I just read on Durex. Shout out Durex. I'm sorry.
great.
what?
No.
Let's switch it up, bro. You gonna switch it up, bro. You gonna switch it up, bro. You gonna switch it up. Bro.
Trojan clears.
Switch it up. Switch it up, bro.
Why are we
But yeah,
doing
but
this?
I hear y'all. I just feel like Sasha Banks is in that tier, and like, especially when it comes to like accolade. I feel like even though Malik, what you said is right, the eras and all that matters. I also
Yeah.
feel Trish, Lita, they were treated and booked better than Sasha Banks relative to era. Obviously, that women's wrestling divas era was Garbanzo. I know, but I'm
You
saying the way they viewed them though, Mickey, Trish, and Lita did not get treated the way Sasha did, bro. They
Yeah.
wasn't. Like they weren't treated the way Sasha was. You know what I mean? That's
Because
what I
women's
mean.
wrestling
on.
wasn't taken seriously.
But hold
Can
on,
we
hold on,
highlight?
hold on.
Can we wait? Can we highlight?
But
this,
even
though?
when they
Somebody
didn't
said-
take it serious, they still treated her better than in the era where
You
they did.
see, you see. Can we highlight this? Because somebody said can't blame Sasha for bad booking.
Oh, that was getting ready to get into that. Yeah, we blame you blame everybody for bad booking. It's bad booking, bro. That's not even just Sasha Banks. It's a lot of wrestlers, bro.
But
Like,
my
you talk
thing is
about-
that
that
goes
is
into
true.
what I was saying though.
Roman Reigns is
You're
one of them.
ranking them and you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. If that's the case, Dolph Ziggler should be a top 10 WWE superstar of all time. He should be on everybody's top 10 if that's the case.
Yeah.
Samoa
Somewhere,
Yeah.
bro.
Talking about
If that's the case, Braun Strowman should have been an XL. Shinsuke Nakamura, the Summer Punk should have been booked better. You know what I'm saying? That should have went off to be one of the best things we ever seen. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
I think
there's a
it's
lot.
bad booking sucks, but we have to look at the reality right now. The reality
I mean,
is what
the-
happened.
The big dog Roman Reigns. You feel me? That mean that's
Yeah.
the case too.
Kobe
We talking
could have
about-
achieved more.
Hey,
but
hey,
just happened.
Actually, that's a good question that might stir some feathers. Overall, when we look back at it, Alexa Bliss or Sasha Banks?
Okay, bro.
Ooh.
All right, bro. All right.
Alexa
Well,
Bliss was
Like,
a much better
like-
champion.
Name me one
Alexa
great
Bliss was a
Alexa
much
Bliss
better
match.
champion.
If we're talking booking,
Alexa-
booking, it's obviously Alexa Bliss. If we're talking
Alexa
Alexa
Bliss was
Bliss.
handled better on the main roster. They
Wait,
booked
yeah.
her pretty well for
all right,
2016, 2017. She was like
Yeah.
one of the top 3 women.
Wasn't
She
she
was
the
a better
first
champion.
Raw and women's champion, like ever?
Now,
SmackDown.
I don't
The first
I don't
one to
think
hold both.
I don't think Alexa Bliss even comes close to having great matches as Sasha
No.
Banks did. But as
No.
far
Oh,
as
yeah, no,
as far as how they were portraying her on the roster, I mean, they showed that they were caring more about her, bro. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It-
Bliss
it
was
is-
a good promo too. Like,
And she
good
was
in
a
the
better
ring.
she
Yeah.
was
She
a
just
better
wasn't Sasha.
champion. Like,
No,
no,
she
no,
was a
she
better
had good promos. She had good promos.
She was a
That's
good
a promo.
promo.
She
She
did.
was a better champion. She
Her
was portrayed
promos
a
didn't
lot
start.
better, too.
Her promos
Got-
didn't
yeah,
start
got-
sucking until she got hurt and started doing that talk show segment. That's what her
Yeah.
promos.
This
started.
is a super chat right here. We'll get to better WrestleMania Hollywood 21 or 39. Good question.
21.
21.
21. If it wasn't for
30
night 2
it
or
wasn't-
39,
yeah, I
I
was
was
about
about
to
to
say,
say
if it wasn't for night two.
WrestleMania.
bro.
That was my
21.
other.
Where's
That was
WrestleMania,
the other
bro?
standing on Hill. WrestleMania 39 with 2 more correct decisions would have been the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Would have been better than X.
That's not a bad take. Only reason why I
Not
don't give
bad.
21 that nudge is because the 2 last matches weren't that great. JBL versus John Cena was awful, but
Trash.
Triple H
Trash.
was okay. But
It was
it
cool.
gives that legendary status because of the 2 that they lifted up, the new faces of the company.
Yeah.
20
Yeah, and the
Other-
matches
other than
before were
those
actually
two,
really good
And
too.
the undercard.
You didn't
was
like John
fantastic.
Beerbelly Layfield? You didn't like
Yeah.
No,
Rob
the build
makes
the,
fake
the
money
build
off
up was great, but honestly, if they had the match they had at Judgment Day at WrestleMania, ooh, that would have been so much better, bro.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
did,
dude,
what
yeah.
wasn't
Oh, it
the
would've been the best
stipulation leading
Mania.
up to Mania was John Cena wasn't allowed to touch JBL unless it was
Yeah.
sanctioned or some shit like
Yeah,
that?
Yeah. Like they couldn't touch each other.
Y'all remember
So like
the
Jay,
statement
like
he was spraying
Cena put
paint
a
on
water.
his
He
head?
put water
Yeah.
in.
His hat,
Yeah.
yeah, and he dumped it on his head.
I'm not touching you.
I'm not touching it. He put it
Y'all,
water in his head.
y'all
and put it
remember?
right on top.
Y'all remember when Cena cracked that chair off of Danny Basham's skull right in front of JBL because he couldn't hit?
That's crazy.
Bro, John Cena was such a menace, bro. He FU Teddy Long in the ring because he couldn't fight JBL.
Hey.
Y'all remember
That's when he
JBL
got
had him
his
arrested?
mouth.
He was like, arrest this thug.
Yeah, this
I was
white
like, oh,
thug.
The most
Okay,
wild
all
shit
right,
I've seen
all right.
JBL
They used to go
do.
crazy in those feuds, bro. They used to go
Bro,
crazy in those
Bro,
feuds, man.
the most wild shit I seen JBL did was kick a Mexican out of the border, bro.
Nah,
That was
JBL was
crazy.
different.
Yo,
bro.
you're the only one
Nah,
in this
bro,
chat
that
that can
was
say
good.
that, bro.
I'm Puerto Rican.
No,
dude,
that
man.
that
I
was
can
that
get
was that
away.
was a
Hey,
that was
I-
the crazy stuff they do.
I know Texas for most of my life. I can say,
Bro,
we
no,
right,
he-
we right there. We
bro,
right,
it
bro.
was-
El Paso, Texas is literally right, like
Bro,
next to
it
Juarez,
was like
Mexico.
15 minutes.
It was
Right
in the,
in-
bro,
right
it
next
was
to
in the
Juarez,
middle of
yeah.
the night. He turned
Yeah,
him
yeah, yeah.
around. He put his boot on his ass and pushed him and said, "Go across the border." I was like,
Yeah, no, yeah.
Someone said he was
WWE
MAGA before
wild,
MAGA.
man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he was.
Hey,
He
yo.
was.
That's
but, you know.
crazy.
He did salute.
All right,
Germany.
guys.
I do remember.
All right.
I do remember. Yeah,
Nah,
I think
JBL
that's a good point.
JBL
I
was
love
crazy.
There's no word
JBL
for
though.
this.
I love JBL though.
JBL was
What you just
crazy,
do,
bro.
bro?
JBL.
Fun fact, you know what's crazy? So a fun fact. I want to bring up 2 things before we head off here. So I was listening to Chavo's podcast. Y'all remember when they turned him into Current White, right? When he had to turn into Current White and
Oh my
everything.
God.
my
bro.
god.
He pitched the idea, and it's crazy because they could have got away with it back in these days. It's been crazy, but he
Oh, I
pitched
know
the
what you're gonna
idea
say. I know
of
what you're gonna
being-
say, bro. I know
He
what you're
pitched the
gonna say.
idea of being like a Nazi guy, bro. Like coming out with the KKK stuff and everything, bro. Like he
Yeah,
wanted to be that type of
yeah.
heel, bro. Like he was
In
gonna
2005?
in 2007, whenever they did it, yeah, he was gonna do that.
They would have gotten away with it. They would've-
And
they
honestly, bro,
would've gotten
they
away with
could have got away with it. They could have gotten away with it, bro. They could have gotten away with
They
it
were
at
just
that
doing
time frame.
anything in the ruthless aggression era.
At that time frame, they could have gotten away with it, bro. Because if you look
They
back
had
at some of those
Eugene, bro.
stories, you look back at some of those stories, bro. They could have. I mean, I think honestly, if you go back and look at like the Sergeant Slaughter and Hulk Hogan stuff, like that was during like when the Saddam Hussein stuff was declaring war on America, bro. Like that
Bro,
was some
they got
serious
bomb
shit. bro.
threats.
They were getting bomb threats, bro.
Yeah, bro.
They had to move
Somebody,
venues because of
somebody
that.
said we need the JBL and Trump link up.
If you go watch the Sergeant Slaughter docu,
Hey,
if you go
if they
watch,
can get gas back down to under $2, by all means. If they can get gas back to under $2 a gallon,
Word,
man,
bro.
I miss
If you-
that time, bro.
if
Bro,
you
I
go
shit
watch,
you not, my mom the other day was like she was so angry because she went to a gas tank that was like $3.35, and then when we were leaving, we were driving. She saw another gas station that had $2.95. She flipped shit in the fucking car, bro. That was
Bro,
so
I'm telling
angry.
you, bro, if y'all wasn't driving in 2020 and 2019 when gas was $1.69 a gallon, bro.
$1.
Oh my
Yeah, me.
god, bro.
depends on
Well,
where you live, though. Depends on where
Well,
you live.
everybody was
Bro.
there with their own shits, putting that shit in there, man.
Bro, I used to be able to fill up
Muhammad
my
Hassan,
car.
Oh my god.
I used to be able to fill up my car with less than $20, bro. That's how
Yep.
I used to be able to fill up my car
Yeah.
with less than 20,
Yeah.
bro. Now I'm like, hey, just
Depends-
go ahead and put
We-
10
we-
on
we-
some
we-
here,
we went
'cause
from
I'm-
wrestling to goddamn
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the
I'll make it work. I'll make it work.
Hey,
Depends
I
where you
just,
live,
I
bro.
just need to
Depends
last
where
it
you
for 2 days.
I just need to last
Alright.
tomorrow, man. Just here.
So thank you guys for coming through. We're gonna go ahead and
Yeah,
sign
I
off,
just,
man.
I just need this for the next hour, bro. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming through. Ross, appreciate you for coming through, man.
sure,
if you,
for sure,
if you
for
want to
sure.
come back again, let us know you come back. But next week we're doing we're talking WrestleMania stuff. We're talking about good and bad WrestleMania, so we'll be talking
Okay.
everything WrestleMania next week. If you want to come through, more than
Appreciate you
welcome.
having me on here, man.
Thank you guys for coming through for the debate, the little chats afterwards. Make sure you guys subscribe
Wait,
to
what the
Ross's
fuck is
channel.
going on with John Cena? What the fuck?
What are you talking about?
Did he drop a new OnlyFans?
Someone
Somebody
said
John
he's
Cena
naked
is
at the
naked
Oscars. Let me check
Get
extra.
the- why would you
All
want
right,
to
I'm
see
not
that?
watching that.
Why would
Yeah,
y'all
this
want to
is
see
egregious.
that?
This
What's
is
going
We
on?
can't
abominable.
see
I'm
it though.
not
It's John
watching that.
Cena. You can't.
Why
see
would he
it.
not be at the Oscars?
Oh, here we go.
Why
I'm
would he not be at? Somebody said, "Why is John Cena at the Oscars?" Why would he not be at the?
Why would he
Oscars?
not be there?
He's one of Hollywood's biggest stars. I mean,
You know, my V is gonna be there, right? Probably.
Bro,
Oh,
he-
he's naked.
bro.
They said he's
Oh,
naked. They
for
said he's
sure.
naked
No,
on
for
the
real.
Oscars.
He for real is. He for
They
real
said
is.
he's naked
Let
on
me
the
see.
Oscars.
Wait.
Not for
Bro,
nothing.
he's for
Let
real.
me.
Bro,
Not for
he for real
nothing.
is naked, bro. He for
Pause.
real is naked, bro.
Pause.
Someone
but I-
said Cena
I-
naked. Be back.
Pause.
Oh my.
Pause. But I gotta. Not for nothing. I gotta see it.
Hey,
I know.
Whoa,
John Cena's
my
dead.
God!
It's
Yeah, bro.
man.
John
What-
Cena's
Bro,
dead
what,
naked,
the,
man.
what is he
Yeah, pack it up.
doing?
Pack it up. We're done.
Yo, that's insane.
God damn it, Cena.
John Cena.
Hey,
John Cena.
Hey, somebody said this John Cena at the Oscars right now.
y'all wilding, bro.
Bro,
fuck,
Bro,
man?
what?
nigga came out with the sandals on, booty naked.
That's so
That's
crazy.
wild.
That's
His ass is
crazy.
out, bro. He is dead ass naked, bro.
This is egregious, bro. What the
This
fuck?
is egregious, man. What is
Nah,
happening?
Cena's going crazy.
Oh my.
Oh wait, so for the
God.
people that got 2K24, how y'all feeling? Somebody said in the chat. real
W
quick.
game, bro.
W,
Except
bro.
Showcase. Fuck Showcase.
Oh wow.
Showcases a lot. But
You don't like
it's
Hogan and
It's
Andre?
so-
You're a bum.
It's not even about the matches, bro. It's like why I don't know north from west, bro. I'm not trying to think about all that. Like,
Yeah, that's
just tell me
stupid,
where-
bro.
give me
Just
a
say
simple
top
cutscene.
right, top left. Like, come on, man. What we doing?
Thank you, and just give me a cutscene, bro. Like a playable cutscene. I don't want to watch the match.
The last
Like,
best
fuck all that.
showcase was 2K16 with Stone Cold. I really
No,
like
19.
that one.
19 with Daniel Bryan. That's how they did that.
I
one
ain't
right.
do 19.
I didn't do that one either, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I just
like
played
19.
online in 19. I was an online merchant.
All right.
That gameplay was stupid though.
Thank you guys for coming through, man. Thank you guys for joining. We'll be back next week, like I said, talking everything WrestleMania. So make sure you guys subscribe. No Name Wrestling Podcast, Narcolepsy Boy 94 YouTube channel. Ross, you could also plug in your stuff for the people who are watching, myself, if they're people who aren't familiar with their stuff.
For sure. Kicking it with Ross on YouTube. Ross is Clutch on Twitter. Right now is a dumpster fire because now people are finding clips of me reacting to, I think, some videos, some Liv hype or whatever, and a prediction I did on having Liv win a match. And now people are trying to, point out hypocrisies of, oh, this is what you said positive about Liv. Oh, da, 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 da. And it's great. I love it. I'm here for it. So yeah, if y'all want to join in on the cesspool toxicity, let me know. Ross's Clutch on Twitter, Kicking It with Ross on YouTube. I think Ross the Chosen One on Instagram. So yeah, man, I'm having a great time, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here.
No problem, man. Thank you guys for coming
Yes,
through.
sir.
Until next
sir.
week.
See y'all next time.